Ooga booga booga!
Hello, Internet. Now please hold on to your butt as two comedians attempt to talk about serious subjects in a not so serious manner. This is the Kd Comedy Podcast, featuring true crime, amazing events, conspiracies, unsolved mysteries, and an array of weird and wonderful topics, all for your enjoyment. You're welcome.
And that proves that even people that you would trust with your life can, at some point, go fucking crazy.
You know, one thing I haven't done for a while actually is like a proper intro.
Yeah.
Moving on. I'm not doing one. I'm just saying.
Fuck that shit. That's effort. I can't be bothered.
I'll do a little tiny one because I feel bad that the people at home can't see my beautiful face because I couldn't find my good camera today. So I got to give them something. Welcome everybody to the I was about to say in your house. Welcome everybody to the Kd Comedy Podcast, episode 21. I am your host, the comedic baby face, as always, Kd Hinken, and I am joined by the beautifully bushy, lion-haired, maned creator of the post-apocalyptic metal treehouse, Mr. Nathan Parish.
How's it going?
There we go. That's the only bit of structure we're gonna have today.
Yeah, it's going to be a very unstructured one today, ladies and gentlemen. I'm exhausted, and
I'm just me,
and yeah,
I'm just me. I'm not sober either, to be fair. So yeah.
Yeah. It's going to be one of those ones.
To be honest, though, I think with how it's gone so far, I think it would be weirder if both of us were sober, or even one of us were sober completely when we did this.
Yeah, and plus the story I've got today is going to be a pretty mental one anyway. I'm not sure if you've heard the story before. Hopefully, you haven't done it on here before, but we'll see. We'll see when we get to it.
I'm not that bothered anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah, mine's. I won't get into my story now because I think mine would be first anyway, wouldn't it?
Yeah. So we'll have a little bit of a chat first. How the have you been?
I've been very good, but I'm glad you said that though. I did want to point something out because I realised I said something wrong last week. It was quite serious apparently. I got quite rather a bit of flack for it, and I feel like I should address it now. I should be honest. Should make the point of it. I completely got the names wrong for the claiming the stoners' rights when we was talking.
Really?
I got the names completely wrong. My friends were not happy about it. So,
to be fair, you kind of need to know your shit when it comes to that stuff, man.
Well, I got it wrong completely straight away. Like I was saying, let me get the actual because what was I saying was first when you take rollers' rights? Was it Mr. Motherfucker?
Something like that.
Yeah. Okay, let me get on then. Okay, Mr. Motherfucker, sorry, was fifth. That was actually the one that when there's 5 people in a circle, there's too many, so you're a motherfucker. I got that part wrong.
Yeah, okay.
Number 1, when you steal the rights, was Ganja Man. That's Ganja Man. So that's once it's rolled and it hasn't been put to the lips yet, which is just the worst one. It should be Mr. Motherfucker, but it's Ganja Man.
Yeah. Ganja Man sounds like a superhero. It sounds like something positive. At that stage, to me, that ain't positive. You steal my roller's rights, I'm gonna murder you.
Yeah. Well, let you know, I swear at one point, there was like a point where we realised this was happening and it just happened all the time. You couldn't do anything about it because it's not like you can hide the fact you're rolling, especially when everyone says, roll, please. You can't do it. So I swear I remember at one point, for a very small point, because it didn't last long anyway, that they were just like, because you always have a bit more backy at the beginning. And that's why you have to start smoking it, don't you, first? And they would just have more backy. So whoever took it is like, well, fuck you, there's no put there.
Yeah.
Number 2 was treacle tea. Number 3 was cunt pot.
Okay.
And number 4, I was the one I really couldn't remember, and I thought I'd written it down, but I didn't actually write down that note, but it's in the message that the guy sent me, and it should be there. It is. Number 4 was Weed Fiend.
Weed Fiend.
Weed Fiend was number 4. For obvious reasons, because 4 is still too many.
Yeah.
So I just wanted to get that right.
Yeah.
For anyone.
Hang on. I'm gonna. How about that? Some microphone muting while I did some sneezing.
Right.
Oh God, yeah. Speaking of intoxication, we do have the thing we were talking about just before we started.
Yeah, that's what I was waiting for then.
It's what's Nathan drinking today. Today we have an Irish whiskey. It's a triple casked. It's called Slain.
Oh, let's have a look at it. I need to make like a little like audio, a little like logo
Yeah.
thing for when you say that. You go pops up. What's he drinking?
Yeah, Slain
very nice,
Irish
though.
whiskey, triple casked. It's according to the back, inspired by the idyllic Boyne Valley, or I don't know how to pronounce that. It's probably
Boyne.
some Boyne, you know.
Hello,
Fucking
Boyne, yes.
mate.
Happy Boyne to you.
Inspired by the idyllic Boyne Valley and enhanced by our signature triple cask method.
It's perfectly in line with tomorrow. Well, actually, 2 days ago when this will come out, Paddy's Day.
Yeah. Using virgin, seasoned, and sherry casks, this innovative recipe of unique maturation creates an exceptional Irish whiskey with a smooth and robust flavour.
See, you're a connoisseur of whiskey. I've learned this very quickly. Do you really notice much difference between them?
Yeah, dude. Yeah,
Really?
like especially like when it comes to different kinds of whiskies. So like a bourbon. That's the
Bourbon.
biscuit. A bourbon.
I do like them though a lot more than whiskey. The flavour, anyway.
Yeah. Well, yeah. But a bourbon, for the most part, is going to be aiming for smooth, maybe a little bit of oaky flavour, something like that. It's going to be not very peaty at all. You're not going to have any of those earthy notes, really. It's all going to be trying to go for sweet flavours.
Not very peaty.
Mm-hmm. This is where things get weird, my friend, because once you get into the Scotch whiskies, you got your standard Scotch whiskies, which are basically like a slightly fancier version of a bourbon, basically. You know, it's got maybe a little bit of extra woodiness, a little bit of extra sort of burn on the end of it, stuff like that. Whilst then you get into the Irish stuff, and some of the Irish stuff especially is incredibly peaty alongside some of the Scotch stuff. Now that is that flavour. I mean, it literally tastes like grass or dirt or earth almost.
Yeah.
And like it turns a lot of people off of those types of whiskies. Like there's Lafroig in particular, which is so incredibly peaty. You take a sip of that and you're gonna be like, "Fuck me! I think I've just chewed a cow's like cud out of its mouth. Just spit it." You know,
that's one thing. I do like the earthy taste. I can get that from it when you were saying it before. I understand that kind of from it. Yeah.
And that's basically what it is. I mean, then you come into like within bourbon itself, you've got like a Jack Daniels is a bourbon. It's a Tennessee whiskey. It's not really like a great example. And
I'm going to go out on a limb and say, for someone who likes good whiskey and stuff, that, you know, Jack Daniels is not what you'd go for. No, okay,
it's not great.
It makes a lot of sense.
If you're going to mix it with something, with like Coca-Cola or something, yeah, you can enjoy that. It's a good enough drink. It'll get you pissed. But straight Jack Daniels sucks ass. And in fact, I would prefer myself Jim Beam over a Jack Daniels any day. And I know it's a bit cheaper, but it is a smoother drink. It's got a slightly better flavour, a little bit sweeter. It's a bit of a nicer drink, in my opinion.
I think with Jack Daniels, like a lot of things, you know, the people buy it for the name, they buy it for how it looks. I know so many people. I know so many people. Like there's one person I can think of, for example, that he was like the epitome of when we was a bit younger. Like, I'm a rock star, you know, that's what I am. You know, you know that I'm a rock star, man. I'm like Slash Reborn. And he was talking about, I've never, like, he headbangs like this, but that's a whole different thing. Yeah,
what?
I know. Yeah, he generally headbangs like that.
You can't do that. That's not how it works.
No, you can. Whether you should is the true question.
Is the question? Yeah, fucking hell.
But what was I saying? Yeah, he used to go on all the time about how he would like wake up in the morning and pour Jack Daniels on his cereal and have that and stuff. And the one time, yeah. And the one time I actually saw him drink straight Jack Daniels at a party when we made him, threw up everywhere.
Yeah. Yep. Jack Daniels straight is fine if you're ready for it and if you're an experienced whiskey drinker. But if you are trying to just have a shot of a whiskey, don't just have a shot of Jack Daniels. It is a fucking horrendous experience. Like even Southern Comfort, people get really obsessed with Southern Comfort. To me,
I like that.
Yeah, but to me, that's the problem. So, like Southern Comfort isn't really whiskey to me. It's so sweet. It's so
pure.
obscenely sweet for a whiskey.
No, it's not a whiskey, but
isn't it?
Technically, let me get the label. It says it might be the opposite way for you. It says liqueur with whiskey.
With whiskey. That's why. Yeah, and like that's the thing. Incredibly sweet. I don't like it. It's not what I'm coming to a whiskey for. Now. That being said, it's time to give the slain a little bit of a taste. So let's have the little.
And while is there a noise?
That's the opening of the bottle.
Oh, is there no? Oh, I'm not. If there's no cork sound, I'm not interested, Nathan.
I know. I kind of want to cork on all of my whiskies, but
I think you should buy corks of all different sizes to cork them yourself.
Wow. Okay.
And while
this
you do
smells
that,
really
I will
nice.
show everyone the same thing I'm drinking again. The cheap amaretto from Lidl. £10, 70 centilitres, 28%. It's so nice. It's so good. So good. Do it. Buy it. Believe me. You'll appreciate it. It does make you drunk.
This does smell slightly sweet. You can smell the sherry in it, if that makes sense.
What's sherry again?
It's like fancy wine, slightly stronger, slightly sweeter, that kind of stuff.
Yeah,
the kind of stuff you drink at Christmas.
The posh stuff like Lambrini.
The posh stuff, exactly. Well,
Okay, cheers anyway. When you're ready.
Cheers.
There we go. That's good video content right there. I already know what mine tastes like. So.
What the fuck?
What? Give us your verdict.
I mean, it's unbelievably smooth.
Oh, so when you say smooth, you mean that you don't get that burny feeling going down?
Virtually no burn at all. I'm getting a little bit of burn at the back of the throat. That's
you want a little bit, though, don't you?
Oh,
I've always said that.
We want to know you're drinking some whiskey. Yeah.
Yeah, you just want to know you're drinking something that is going to make you feel drunk.
I could sip that for fucking days. That is beautiful.
Are you like me as well?
Yeah.
I assume you are in the sense that you prefer to, because I never used to, but now I prefer to just have like a straight spirit or liqueur and just drink that.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. I did have a bit of a joke about it at one point that I was trying to put into the act, which was, you could, a lot of people here are drinking beers. I like to have whiskey like an adult. Like,
that works. So.
You know what I mean? Yeah. To me, it's a grown-up drink, if that makes sense. And that could be me just putting my own spin on it. But, like, with a whiskey, you know how much it is. You know how, how much alcohol is in it.
Yeah.
It's no fucking about with, like, it's 5% over this much thing. No, it's one shot is usually 1 unit, basically almost all the time. That means if you go into a gig... Yeah.
I just know the spirits are the level that if you drink some, you don't have to drink a lot, you'll get fucked. That's good for me.
I just don't drink that much, man. I'd much rather just get blazed.
Oh yeah, definitely. That's the regular. Yeah. If I could only do one, like it would always be that. Always. It's never steered me wrong. There's nothing wrong with it itself. Sometimes you may have it at the wrong times, or when you haven't eaten, or other things, or whatever. But the thing itself. Good. I like a bit of plant. I don't understand now. So I can kind of deal with. I wouldn't drink it. I can kind of understand alcohol-free beer. I kind of get it.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people do drink that like it's a drink.
The
fucking
Heineken Zero stuff is really good. Like the alcohol or Heineken Blue, whatever it is. That stuff, it tastes like a fucking delicious beer.
I think the only reason I would ever buy non-alcoholic drinks is if I bought loads of actual bottles of beer and I was short, and what I would do is I would take all the labels off the beer with alcohol in and buy some without alcohol in, take the labels off them too, mix them in, because then I won't know. What's the word? You know what I'm saying? Placebo effect.
I know what you mean. Placebo, yeah.
Yeah, I get a placebo effect going on. That's real. I'll do that. I'll save you some money.
Smart, dude. Yeah, real smart.
You know what?
Chocolatey notes. Yeah. Interesting. Sorry.
Oh, okay. I thought you were just being racist for a second.
No, well, fuck.
I don't know what I said. You know what though? Leading it before we get to the end of the intro, actually, I wanted to ask you
Oh shit!
something.
I
Go
need
on.
to.
No, go ahead.
Can I? I've got to fucking mention this shit. Have you seen NFTs yet?
NFT.
NFTs, right? They're a new thing. They're fucking stupid, right? So you know how like you get a Bitcoin before, like
Yeah.
everyone data mines and that you've all got the ledger, and if anyone doesn't adhere to the ledger, then their stuff doesn't count, but everyone else's adheres to the ledger. Do you know how that works?
I haven't got a clue what you're on about now. I know what Bitcoin is.
Okay. So the way a Bitcoin works is that every single time a new Bitcoin is made, that is put onto a ledger that is then universally carried throughout the internet, throughout of all these other people's Bitcoins as well. And that together sort of goes, this is what we all agree is the actual currency.
Yeah.
That means
makes
you
perfect
can't
sense.
can't add a random Bitcoin because it wouldn't appear on the ledger and everyone else would go, that's not true, you're gone, fuck off.
Yeah. Which I can imagine from the sounds of it is probably where a lot of the issues have come from with Bitcoin then.
Yeah.
I can imagine from the sounds of that, yeah.
Yeah, and the problem with Bitcoin as well is that, the data mining to make a Bitcoin is the processing of all the transactions out there. That's how you're earning another Bitcoin, if that makes sense. So you're working for them to make a Bitcoin for you.
I've always wondered when, I've heard them say a lot of the time mining like Bitcoins. I think it was a different currency, but I assume it's the same kind of thing. I always wondered what that meant. So that makes more sense than what I got from them.
Yeah. Well, now you've got something called NFTs. Now, an NFT is similar to that, but instead of acting as just a coin, which is a tradable commodity, it's sort of trying to be the origin point of a GIF. So, like, if you create a GIF on the internet that people like regularly use, but you're an artist, you can sell that GIF, the original version of it, to someone making an NFT or by making an NFT. And then they buy it and they're like, I own this art piece. So everyone else has got a different version of this art piece, but I own the original in this NFT.
Right, yeah.
That makes sense?
I get that, but I'm completely lost how that relates to Bitcoin.
Right, well,
I get the concept of what you were saying as a GIF, and then someone will buy the original GIF, and it's like they own a piece of artwork. I get that
because they're using the same thing that a Bitcoin would use to verify that you have the original version of that file.
Okay.
So like you have so it's basically like someone authenticating the Mona Lisa. That one's the original Mona Lisa. All the rest are just imitations. This proves that you have the original version of this GIF. All the rest of them are imitations. And they've got NFTs that are literally moments from sports games. They've got NFTs that are just artists' drawings themselves that they've then sold on. There's NFTs that are like clips from computer games and shit, and it's bullshit, man. It's bullshit. Like, people are spending thousands and thousands, if not millions, on literally just data to own an NFT.
Right. I mean, so it's kind of like it's kind of just like art, then, isn't it? From the sounds of it, it's like they're owning a piece of art in their head, but it doesn't actually mean anything. Or is it actually supposed to be currency as well?
Well, it's not supposed to be currency, but they're sort of tradable commodities, so you can sell it off to someone else.
Yeah,
and
like a product rather than
yeah. And artists, it's great if an artist can sell an NFT and go like, yeah, you've got the original version of this. But at the same time, like, what does that person own? They just own the bragging rights to that thing. Like,
does it actually mean anything at all?
No, everyone can still look at that version of the GIF. Everyone can look at the GIFs. It's just this person owns it and their name.
Can you share it still?
I don't know. I think you can share it. Everyone else can share it.
Yeah, you can share other people's stuff. Yeah, you must be able to actually. Yeah.
Yeah, but they don't. They own it now, apparently, and like that would have been fine if it was just for artists, but it's not, because now there's dudes coming in going like, "Oh, I made a game years ago, and now I'm going to like take the commissioned art I had for the computer game and then sell it as an NFT." And it's like all the artists are going, "Well, we never gave you the rights to an NFT," and it's like, "Oh, but it's a legal grey area, so I'm fine."
Yeah, yeah.
And
That does sound like a legal grey area, to be honest, because how can
yeah,
you put something in place to go against something that didn't exist at the time, but then how can you
yeah.
say I was allowed to because it didn't exist? It sounds very, yeah.
It's dumb.
I'd like to see that
The thing
trial.
is, yeah, at the moment, it's sort of building up to this ridiculous thing where loads of people, as I say, are spending literally millions on these fucking NFTs and the rights to own a thing potentially, but not own it because the artist still owns it. And it's,
Yeah. It sounds like the epitome of even more stupidness that people like us listen to. We try to make sense of it, and it doesn't really make a lot of sense, Nathan.
It's dumb as fuck. And these people have all bought into it. It's going to be a big like craze. Everyone's going to go mental over it, like they have with fucking what do you call it? With Bitcoin and stuff like that.
Yeah. There's another one as well I've heard of us around. I can't remember the name.
Yeah, Ethereum. And
that's it. That was the exact one. It was on Judge Rinder, and it was that they were talking about mining it and that. Judge Rinder's great, by the way.
I don't get it, man. I don't get what people fucking. Everyone gets bought in by this stupid shit. Don't buy this stupid shit, people. You don't need it.
People just have a thing about wanting to believe in really silly things.
Yeah, they want to be in on the ground floor. It's that FOMO shit, fear of missing out. Oh, who gives a fuck?
Actually, yeah. Both of the things we just said then, believing in something random and FOMO, leads very well into my story, to be honest with you.
Excellent. Excellent.
But I do, because I don't know if I said to you, because I was thinking about doing one thing that I did in like the first episode. I was thinking about doing Bob Lazar. But I've already kind of covered it before, and I did something. Basically, I got into the idea of doing something else. It's not really anything to do with Bob Lazar. It's kind of very loose. I don't know why I've mentioned it then. But I did want to ask you, Nathan, before we start, how do you feel about ghosts? Ghosts in general? Do you believe, not believe, had any experiences, etc.?
Nah, I've never really had an experience with a ghost. I don't believe all that much in any of the paranormal stuff, if I'm honest. Like, it's fine if people do, but I just don't.
When you say paranormal, you mean like what do you mean?
Ghosts and things like that specifically. I don't really sort of adhere to the whole like ghosts or demons or spiritual shit. I just don't buy it. I don't.
I'm right there with you.
Man.
I have opinions that I believe the ghost stuff. I believe the thing that people look at as ghosts can be a real thing. Most of the time, it's not. Most of the time, it's people being dumb.
Yeah, if I ever saw proof of it, I'd argue it was some sort of phenomenon like a quantum thing happening where something was time locked or something in a weird historical
something
thing.
like that.
I'd have to sci-fi it up, bro.
Well, it makes sense because that's what you should do.
Yeah.
You should look at things in a real scientific method. You should think about, how you can, what you can really do to try and prove these things, get the evidence from the stuff you're looking at, and different, sides of it, whether it's like, bleed through some alternate dimensions, that's more my kind of opinion, if it's anything. But, okay, I'm just going to say it now then.
Go for it.
Okay, so the thing I was looking into this week was something I've wanted to look into for quite a while, and I was excited to do it when I thought, I'm going to do that. Skinwalker Ranch.
Oh, yeah, okay, yeah.
Okay.
I'm down.
So, what might be good, actually? Just when I say to you Skinwalker Ranch, because I'd only ever heard it, I'd never really looked into it that much. I always wanted to. I just heard a few things, What comes to your mind when you hear about Skinwalker Ranch? What have you heard?
First thing that comes to my mind when I think of Skinwalker Ranch is the episode of Joe Rogan Questions Everything, where he goes, I think it's Joe Rogan Questions Everything.
That makes sense. I did
And
see a thing where he mentioned that he'd been there, but I never saw anything more from that. So
yeah, and he went there with Duncan Trussell, who is just fucking brilliant. Yeah,
I love them two together when they always dress up, don't they, and do conspiracy.
Yeah. Astronauts or some fucking survivalist gear or something.
The bog monster at the beginning of Corona. I remember that.
Yeah, that was brilliant. Yeah, what was I saying?
Your thoughts on Skinwalker and that?
Yeah, and they go to Skinwalker.
They go into too much detail. If you know quite a lot about it, then don't go into too much detail. But
yeah, they go in there and they have a look and they sort of question. They don't talk to anyone from Skinwalker Ranch. Obviously, they talk to the people around it, and there's all the rumors and things like that.
It was like 10 years ago they went or something. It was quite a while ago, wasn't it? Before they
and stuff. Yeah, a long time ago. Yeah, and I mean, it's interesting. There's definitely something there.
Okay,
but whether it's like what they say it is, I don't know.
Well, yeah, I mean, that was I think. So you seem to know more about it. It's like you had some kind of an idea about it more than what I did. I'd always heard that it was like a place where they studied ghosts and UFOs, and there was all these things, and I'd heard about all this evidence that had come out and stuff, and I was really interested to see it in that. What I decided, the reason I actually did it in the end was because, which is why I mentioned Bob Lazar at the beginning. Do you know Jeremy Corbell, the guy who did the Bob Lazar documentary? He's been on Joe Rogan. He was with Bob Lazar. He was also on there with George Knapp as well, the guy with the big long beard.
Yeah.
He's one of those people that if you ever see his face, you ever hear him talk or do anything, you want to punch him. He's one of them.
Yeah.
Do not like the man.
Yeah.
Do not like him. But he's a very good filmmaker. He's a very good investigative filmmaker. I like his film, I don't like it. Okay, I'm going to rephrase that. I don't like his films, how he puts them together, because most of the time, a 2-hour documentary that he puts together is like, I don't know, there's probably about 20 minutes of random shots. And it's like he thinks he's a super arty-farty bastard. He's not.
Yeah, he thinks he's a genius, and at most he's,
not.
Yeah.
But he's very good at getting. That's one thing I love about him, though. He's very good. If there is any evidence to be found, he will get it. He will find the evidence. He'll put it forward. That's one thing I loved about it. So when I realized it was him, I was like, okay, I'm into that. So, in a nutshell, Skinwalker then. Skinwalker Ranch is said to be the most studied paranormal hotspot in history. Scientists from the National Institute of Discoverable Science, or NIDS, funded by a rich dude who was well connected to the government, who was the owner at the time when Rogan would have gone. He's got a new owner now.
Yeah.
He coordinated the study into the phenomena since 1996, and also in connection with the government at a later date. I think about 10 years in, something like that. For that, partly deceived the phenomena posed any threat to national security. It was evidence but debated for over 20 years. However, since then, of course, which was in the documentary, I was like, this is mainly a review of the documentary, partly.
Yeah.
So at the beginning of the documentary, they made a big point of this, and ongoing throughout it, that since the time of that before, and since the book that George Knapp wrote about it in the past, there's been all this stuff coming out about, we know UFOs have been studied by the government, the Tic Tac, the Go Fast, and all that, and all the documents. We know that at this point that they have been looking into that.
Yeah, they've got files and files and files on it.
Yeah. So none of I don't really question the UFO stuff in this very much. Okay, I'm going to rephrase that. I'm going to tell you rephrase that. I do question the UFO stuff. I question everything.
Whoa! My God! Everything went weird for a second.
I thought I died then.
You did.
I did. It's like...
is it the wrong way up?
I don't know how... So I need to decide how I'm doing this anyway.
There we go. Woo! Ladies and gentlemen.
We're back, baby.
We're back.
So I'm trying to with this.
It's difficult to sort of know where to tackle it from first, isn't it?
It is. I think what I'll do, because I don't want to talk too much into it. Like this is all about aliens and ghosts. This is what they were apparently doing there, going by the people that lived there all in the past. And I went into this documentary. Honest to God, I went into it. Why has it got dark on my side suddenly? I don't know. Shit camera. I went into this documentary really hoping, really pumped about it. I was hyped. I wanted to see some good evidence. I was really excited for it. However, George Knapp then. So George Knapp, this is how he got into it. At the beginning of the documentary, they were talking about just him in general, investigative reporter from back in the day, the guy who also helped Bob Lazar do all his stuff. He's a good investigative journalist. He was just talking at the beginning about, he was told some stuff by the people involved in the investigation he knew, and he had some evidence, but he wasn't allowed to give out the story, which is Bob Bigelow, I think his name was. The owner was one of them, and some other people. He eventually was given the green light to do the story, a book about it. I believe it was Hunt for the Skinwalker or Skinwalker Ranch. One of them was the name of the book. Came out about 15 years ago.
Yeah.
It's I'm not even going to bother talking about that because it's not evidence. And yeah, basically, I should clarify as well. I'll pull the curtain back a little bit. You will notice as I talk through this with my notes, and you can see the notes. If you can see the notes in front of yourself, you see it even more. It starts off me documenting everything going through this documentary, and more as it goes through, they get shorter and shorter and more insulting as they go. So I'm going to have to edit this a little bit as we go because I'm not even going to bother reading that now. But 15 years since the book came out, he was talking to Jeremy Corbell, and he had all this documents, videotapes, audio tapes, stuff of interviews of people that he was going to use to make a film documentary at the time. But then he was eventually told by NIDS and someone, anyway, he was vetoed and he wasn't allowed to do, but he had all this footage still. And basically this documentary is him for some reason being allowed to show it all now, and that's what they do through part of it. Okay.
So, like, what kinds of people does he get interviews with? Is it people who actually worked on the ranch, or is it just like people from the outside area?
Both.
Interesting.
Yeah. I'm trying to remember exactly now because I don't know if I even want to read this through exactly how it is because it just gives it too much. It gives the documentary too much fucking credit. So I'm going to get annoyed about this and more as we go on. I've been wanting to vent about this for a while. So yeah. Okay. So let's think about the people they talk to. Okay. Yeah. They talk to, first of all, a random person in the area that saw some stuff. A lot of stuff all the time.
So it's a dude who saw some stuff. It might even be the person they talked to in the Joe Rogan interview at one point. Is like, yeah, I saw this and I saw that. And it's like,
it could be, but this is about the first of 17 people that they do the same thing with in this documentary. I'm going to give you a synopsis of all of them.
Okay.
We saw this stuff. It happens all the time. We can't get away from it. It's always happening around us. Haven't got any evidence. Never took a videotape of it, but it's always happening.
No.
And I'm talking
because video cameras haven't been invented yet, Carl. You have to realise that.
Even in 1996, and these a lot of these interviews were 2017 ones and newer ones. A lot of them were talking about more recent experiences, but none of them have ever had cameras.
Never once, no.
And you know, don't get me wrong. They also talked to a policeman who didn't want to go on camera talking about it, but he was talking about it. Just didn't use his name, and he was like, "Yeah, we get called out all the time. These things." And other people were saying, "Yeah, we call the police out all the time. They come down. They're always there." He's like, "We've had all these situations where we've brought them down." He's then goes back to policeman saying, "Yeah, we saw like UFOs, these things floating in the sky." And I'm just thinking, have none of you got dash cams? You never had a body cam? Is this not normal now? I mean, not a bit before, but if you know in your area there are ghosts.
Yeah.
Actually, this is more UFOs. The UFOs everywhere, which I believe in, as we said at the beginning.
Yeah.
There's no... the whole town, Nath, this is the first thing that got to me. The whole town has the opinion that this happens everywhere. Throughout the whole town, the whole Utah Basin, I think it's called. Everyone has a story. No one has a video. Everyone.
It's amazing how camera shy certain like mythical creatures are. Like aliens, incredibly camera shy. Sasquatch, barely ever seen on camera, and when it is, it's swaggering away. You know,
that video, yeah.
yeah.
We should definitely do a Bigfoot
The
one
swagger
eventually.
on that one is
Yeah.
the one that makes me laugh so much.
Yeah.
Everyone's like, "Oh, it's so true, it's so real." No, come on, look at it. It's like, yeah, bro, fucking enjoying being a Sasquatch today, bro.
And when you look into that more as well, they something like they were going out specifically looking for Bigfoot, and they specifically had been there like 5 minutes or something, and then they saw Bigfoot.
And they had a fucking receipt or like clear evidence that they had bought a gorilla suit at some point recently as well.
I don't think that's. I think that's one of those things that just gets put about.
Oh, it might well be, but it's clearly a gorilla suit.
I think there is one like that, though. I think there is one just like that.
Yeah, there's definitely one like that. Yeah, but oh man,
yeah, I remember that was the thing. I remember on that Bigfoot one, they were specifically saying some expert about how well back then they couldn't make a suit that looked that good, because if it did, that's the kind of thing that even movies would struggle to make and do. Oh, well, not fucking really.
No,
look how far away it is. Like,
yeah,
really?
God. I mean, just look at the fucking Planet of the Apes. That was more than enough to get away with it. You'd have been fine with the Dr. Zaius.
No lie. That is exactly the example they use, and I remember looking at it thinking, really? Anyway,
so yes.
I'm just going through to make sure I didn't forget anything with that one. A lot of sightings, 60s and 70s. More people seeing things. Let's clarify. This is stupid, but I do believe in aliens. That's about the crutch of the notes for that part for the first take.
Yeah, yeah. This is stupid, but I do believe in aliens. This shit is testing me.
Honestly, this is the minor shit. I haven't got.
Oh dear.
There's more. There's so much more. They leave it until the end of the documentary, and I understand why. They leave it until the end, right at the end of the documentary, to explain the first story that ever happened to this family that were moved into the ranch, and the first experience they had, which is then what made them think, "Oh, something's going on here." Fucking ridiculous.
Yeah. Okay,
but we'll get to there. We'll get to that.
I'm looking forward to that. I don't want to sneeze again as well. I'm trying to sneeze.
There's a lot of George Knapp in it. There's another note. A lot of George Knapp in between these, saying that he was being allowed there because, not much was happening at the time in regards to the phenomena. So the people there wanted him to come because they thought he could come and stir up some activity as a new person. I think this is more towards the ghost side now. Because
you see, this is the thing as well with this place.
All these beliefs.
It's fucking focus. Focus is so important. Regardless of whether it's music or banking or fucking conspiracy theories, you've got to have focus, man.
Oh, you honestly, Nate, you haven't heard nothing yet.
Yeah,
nothing yet. I haven't even got to the scientists. Remember?
Yeah, Jesus. The scientists.
Well, they're certified scientists. They've got fancy titles. They make this point over and over, and that is why you should believe them. They make this point over and over. That is why you should believe them, because they're...
Yes, you should always believe the crackpot PhD who no one else listens to, because this is all a Hollywood movie. Life is always a Hollywood movie, and you should always go with the lovable rogue, not the mountain of evidence.
The scientists are talking. I'm getting ahead of myself.
And again, I'm an easy sell on UFOs. You're an easy sell on UFOs. We both think that is perfectly possible, probably even likely.
Very. Definitely.
And yet this shit, it's like, oh, come on, man.
There's a huge difference between believing or knowing, really, at this point, in my opinion. That, UFOs are real. Whether they're aliens, I can't say that. But UFOs, those things are there that we don't know where they are. They're unidentified.
We don't know what they are, but they are a UFO. Yeah.
They are a UFO. That's undeniable. Yeah. But that doesn't mean that 97% of the stories that people spout out are anything other than pure fucking bullshit.
Yeah.
It does not mean that.
You need to find the people with no reason to lie, with the best evidence possible, and you so rarely find that.
If you want some great evidence, Nathan, I'm about to give you some. Because, for example, one of the most important things that happened. It's not what that is there, but I remember anyway. One of the most important things that happened that really got them understanding something's going on here when Nids were there. I can't remember if Nids were there at the time. I think they were. I think they were just there actually. One day there were holes in the ground.
What? Wow.
That's it. There was holes in the ground. They looked at the ground. There were holes in them. They were like, "We didn't do it." Told the scientists, "We didn't do it."
So
Must be
therefore,
aliens.
extraterrestrials.
There's going to be an ongoing theme, I think, in this, to be honest with you. But before that, so George Knapp went there the first time because they said, because a lot of this Skinwalker stuff comes from the ancient Ute tribe in the area, the indigenous people to the area, with all these random ass fucking stories that come from somewhere. A lot of drugs probably, but they come from somewhere. And they said what they needed you to do was come in, make a lot of noise, get some people in there too, maybe roll around a bit, dig up. This is what made me think that I was talking about this, but it wasn't. Dig up the earth with a bulldozer, do some stuff, mess up the place, get the spirits going, Nothing happened. Not a single thing happened.
Again, it's like it's the most fucking movie shit ever. It's like, what can we do to disturb the ghosts and get them going? Oh, let's fuck with an Indian burial ground. Like,
they were also doing this specifically. George Knapp was saying because he was constantly told about some predator black mist monster that would appear, and that's why they were doing it at the time.
Oh, okay. Let's desecrate some remains on the fucking whim of a random.
Remains. No remains.
No, but you know what I mean. No, you know, but still,
remains.
like, yeah, probably.
Yeah. No guarantee anyway. So it comes from the Ute tribe. We've already covered that. Apparently, the Skinwalker is an evil presence / it's going to be hard for me to say. An evil presence / shapeshifter / sorcerer who steals souls. There's a lot of S's in that, man.
Look, hang on.
Yeah, go on.
Like, that's a lot of hats to be wearing. Again, focus. I'm pretty sure this is going to be an absolutely abysmal evil creature. You know what I mean? It's going to be far too busy trying to decide whether it wants to sort of magic you to death or flay your skin off. It's not going to be able to make the right choice at the right time.
You know what? Funny enough, the next line I'm about to read, you're fucking right. Yes. It doesn't know what it wants to do because the first instance of what happened to this family when they moved in, in 1994, the Gorman, there'd been stuff that happened to other families apparently. I don't know if they knew about it. I don't know if they just kind of were like, I'm going to buy this and make it. I don't know. But apparently the first thing they did, 1994, they witnessed a giant wolf coming out of the trees towards them from across a giant field. Like they showed you the field in the area. Huge.
Yeah.
It's like 2.5 hectares or something, this thing.
Hectares, yeah.
Hectares, yeah. And it was miles away, so God knows how even it was a giant wolf anyway. But the nearer and nearer got to them, apparently it was just walking up to them, all chilled like and that. And it came right up to them. It was huge. I'm talking huge, like nowhere, basically they were making out it was a demon wolf dog thing.
Yeah.
Apparently it was really chill with them. He was patting it on his head and stuff as well. His little son that was next to him was chilled with it too. He didn't think at one point ever, oh, there's a giant wolf coming towards me. This guy was apparently, this is why you should believe him. They made this huge point as well because he's educated and also a master huntsman and tracksman who really should look at a giant wild wolf walking towards him and think maybe he could attack us. Yeah. But no, I'll keep my son here. And all they had was sticks around them. But the dog was chill. The wolf was chill. And then what he did, he walked over to the cattle that were behind a metal fence.
So hang on.
Go ahead.
This shit is like Bible shit. I shit you not. This is the kind of shit where it was like, and Jesus, lo, was on the mount, and so came up to him the giant dog of the devil, and he was kind to the dog, and it lay with Jesus as a kindly friend. It's like, fuck off, man. You can't just make up bullshit. Like, my God.
Let's remember what this is as well. This is scientists studying this, and I forgot to mention as well, in the documentary, it was a scientist explaining this that was there, and he believed it without a question. It was
Why though?
Because he is an educated person, master huntsman, so he wouldn't lie. Why would he? Well, I'll tell you why later. But right now, he wouldn't lie. Why would he?
What is up with this fucking? What is up with people, man? Why are they so desperate to believe this shit?
That's not even the worst part about this story, Nave. About this particular bit. He went over to the wolf. The wolf went over to the cow, and it was sticking its nose out. And he was like, "He's a wolf. He's hungry." Suddenly, he grabbed it by the nose and started wrapping it around, trying to pull it out. Couldn't get it out. So him and the little son got his little son with him to run over and start beating it with sticks. Didn't do anything, shockingly. Right. So he turned around to his son and said, "Son, go in the house and get me my revolver, my big old revolver thing, a big handgun." They showed it. Meaty fucker. The wolf, I guess, just stayed there, didn't do anything, and ran in, got the gun, came back out, shot it like 5 times, didn't do a thing, didn't see any blood, nothing at all. So he was like, "Son, go back in again," because at this point he knows the wolf is just going to let him do it, apparently. "Go back in again.
Yeah.
Get my rifle, big old hunting rifle." Shot him like 3 times.
What?
I know. Shot him like 3 times. He recoiled, but didn't really seem that hurt. He couldn't see any blood, still anything. But he stopped, and then they shot him the 4th time, I believe it was. And they said they saw a chunk of flesh fly off him, land on the ground, and then he ran off. Or one of them said ran, one of them said walked off, chilled. But either way, he went into the field, back into the forest, and the tracks disappeared completely, apparently. And they thought, "I'm going to go check out this bit of flesh that fell on the floor," and the flesh apparently was decayed and like mummified kind of stuff. That was the first thing that happened.
Oh, fuck off.
That was this super believable event.
I don't know where to begin with that. There's so much that needs answering before you can remotely believe that fucking thing. First of all, have these guys ever done anything like LSD before? If they have, I say veto. Okay.
Well, no, only, I mean, the people that owned the house were he's a full-on Christian family man, so that means naturally he can't believe in bullshit because he's a Christian.
Oh yeah. They have Christian. Never, ever possibly believed in anything that was bullshit. Again, this is why it works for this prick, because he goes to fucking church on Sundays and he goes like, "Yeah, that sounds like a Jesus story."
And bear in mind the whole. He probably learned by this point the whole town that he's in believes in all this stuff. They're really into it, they really. So it's almost like he's suddenly forward. And there's history in this ranch as well of stuff happening. Apparently, he wasn't the first person. There was like generations of different families before him, but still, stories kind of carry on.
I don't get it, man. I mean, yeah.
You could get it if that was the end of the story, and everyone was like, "Why would I believe that?" But then you remember, billionaire created a National Institute of Discovery Science to go here for 20 years and evidence this stuff. Now, you would think if they're going to do that, this stuff is happening all the time around them. They're talking about it. Yeah, they're interviewing.
As all of the locals say, though, it's happening constantly.
But they're scientists. They are there. They know what they're doing. They can get evidence, can't they?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Exactly.
Well, I'm not gonna. I'm gonna explain one story that really stuck out to me, and then you can see why I don't have any faith in them whatsoever. That they know what they're doing. That they think this is the best way to do it. That they really even believe it's there. And then there's another story afterwards, just proving how bullshit the ranchers are. Really.
Excellent. Okay. Excellent.
Remind me of that one in case I forget that, because I don't know if I read that.
Yeah.
I fucking forgot what I was going straight away. Then what did I say? The first thing I was going to say was,
I
wonder if I'm blank.
All I can remember now is the second one, which is why the ranchers were all fucking, prove why they were dumb. But there was another story before that. Yeah.
I'm with you. Sorry. Yeah. Okay. God, Jesus Christ.
I got you there in the end. We're all
You
good.
got me there in the end. Thank you. That's why I don't drink when I try and present things. It doesn't work very well. I will do tomorrow though for the Paddy's Day quiz. Actually, no, I probably won't. I'll drink afterwards a lot.
Okay.
But we'll get into that in a bit. Yeah. So okay. Oh my god. So these are scientists.
Yeah.
They want to get evidence of stuff. Ghosts. We're talking about more here. They thought to themselves, rightly so, they've got all these watchtowers up and stuff, and they thought, okay, we have learned. Well, it always seems that you always hear the dogs can pick up on like ghosts and stuff. They can always see stuff that aren't there. Well, that's the idea. There's a believability in that anyway.
Yeah, like they're picking up on an electromagnetic sense of some kind or something
like
that,
kids as well. You know, I don't know if believability wasn't the right word, but you know that concept of what people think.
Yeah, you can sort of
yeah. So they took a load of dogs. They had like some in a pen, put them in a pen, and they wanted to know if they reacted at all. I think they were going to do stuff, random times in other places, other parts of the ranch. But the issue was every night the gate would keep getting opened and dogs would get let out. So in the end, they would get padlocks because it was happening over a long period of time. To be fair, they would get padlocks and put them on, and the padlocks would get ripped open. They would get big, chunkier padlocks, put them on, still get ripped open, and eventually went to like giant industrial metal wire and all this. And then they were talking about it all, as if like the fact that this kept happening all the time is like shocking. That such good proof that this thing happened, like that it's a real thing. And all I was thinking the whole time was, yeah, okay, that's cool and all. You're scientists. You're there to prove this stuff. You knew this was happening. You were putting padlocks on. It was happening over weeks and weeks and stuff. Did you ever think to point a camera at the gate?
Again, yeah, like exactly what I was thinking. Why you've got a perfect example. Like you're trying to bait these fucking things out by messing with the fucking local like area. That's not doing it. But you have one opportunity where you can guarantee it always turns up and physically rips a padlock off, and you're like, not really worth our time, bro.
Fucking ridiculous, man. There's not even the worst one. They were talking as well about randomly at one point. They were talking about a few of them that saw because this stuff literally I was saying was happening all the time, all around them. So why they just wouldn't eventually just invest in body cams considering they were funded by a billionaire? I don't know, but they didn't. But they had a thermal imaging camera apparently, and the one day they saw this ball of orange light coming down, and then all of a sudden this grey humanoid skeleton-looking thing crawled out towards them. So they crawled along the floor with them, got up, ran towards them, and then stopped and then ran off the other way. And now, like, they were talking about how, like, on the thermal imaging, that it looked like completely different. You could see it all in that. Never saw the thermal imaging. I don't think it exists anymore. I think they forgot to press record, Nathan.
Oh, for fuck's sake! Why is it
ridiculous?
Yeah, why is it that this place has gotten such a fucking
good name?
It's notorious everywhere. It's like everyone's like, oh yeah, Skinwalker Ranch. Fucking useless, pathetic place with nothing happening in it.
It doesn't even have Yelp reviews, Nathan.
Yeah,
didn't even have reviews. I couldn't even find reviews for us. That's how little. Man,
like what do we really think is going on in Skinwalker Ranch? If you were going to put money on it, what do you think is really going on in Skinwalker Ranch? Because I think it's probably one of two things. It's either like a trading area for a certain type of military thing, or it's an Epstein place. You know what I'm saying?
What way?
That like they're just getting loads of people in and they're doing like nasty shit in the basement, and whenever anyone hears or anything or sees a crying child in the middle of the road, it's like, oh yeah, don't worry about it, it's all of the scary spooky ghosts.
yeah.
What you're worried that we might have been doing something illegal on our ranch? Well, what about this story of a giant dog? Hound of the Baskervilles, I tell you.
Oh, dude, I actually know that reference now. I watched. Was it you that recommended Sherlock to me at one point? Was it someone else?
I think it was someone else, but I do like Sherlock. Yeah.
Sherlock Holmes. I'd never watched it, and I've been interested in like the space of because there's not that much to when you get into it.
Not a huge amount. And there's there's like one guy who was like the guy to play Sherlock Holmes, who was so into Sherlock Holmes, playing Sherlock Holmes, that when he started to lose his mind due to, I think it was early onset dementia or Alzheimer's or something like that, he kept playing Sherlock Holmes because he thought he was Sherlock Holmes.
Went back to it. Wow.
Yeah.
I suppose if you went method as well, that makes perfect sense too, because you would have lived
Yeah.
it for that long. Like Jim Carrey
Yeah,
will be
and
Andy
everyone-
Kaufman when he goes dementia.
Yeah. And they're like, oh, okay, yeah, okay, he's still doing the job fine because he is literally Sherlock Holmes now. Okay, let's go with it.
That's a whole nother level of commitment, that is.
Yeah, bro. Yeah. Fucking crazy.
I'll tell you my opinion of what I think was going on there in a sec, once I've told you this next bit.
Oh, is this the dumb? Yeah.
The dumb one. Yeah, this is the dumb one.
Yeah.
No, this is just, it's technically two, but it's just another example of what I really think was going on. I mean, okay. There was another story too, one of the ones. I can't remember. Actually, no, it was both of these, so these kind of go hand in hand. There's two separate technical stories here.
Okay.
But the same situation happened. Basically, I'll tell you the first one first, it's easier. So apparently, the ranchers were around their prize bulls and they were talking about how to the niche people about how if anything ever happened to them, they'd be screwed. You know, they'd lose all their money. Like they'd just be buggered. Their business would be done. The niche people had then gone off for one of their rare vacations, which also happens in the other story, funnily enough. And during that time, apparently, the ranchers came back. The actual ranchers, when they came back, the pen was empty. There was no balls in there. No, what the hell? Looked around.
Right.
Went to a little trailer that they had, and apparently the 4 giant balls were all stuffed into there, dazed, not doing anything. As soon as he was like, what the hell? They woke up straight away, went crazy, kicked down the door and ran back into the pen. And does that, and that was while Nids weren't there. And there was also, Nids had gone on another random vacation away for a bit. And there was cattle mutilation anyway on the field.
Oh, for fuck's sake.
So it's all the same kind of thing. Tell me your feelings, Nathan. I can see them coming out of you.
Why the fuck is this
Believable?
So yeah, we've got a couple of dumbasses who think that it's really, really funny to, well, again, like, it's one of two things. It's either some dumbass thought it was funny to put a load of cows somewhere where they shouldn't be and close the door, which is kind of funny.
I don't know how you would do that, though. They made that point. They're like, how
again,
would you do that? Giant, big,
that's the
massive
thing.
man ball. Like, these are the angry balls apparently they were big, or I don't know.
But that leads me on to question A, or to option B, which is option B is like, okay, let's accept the fact that some mystical force or alien force is doing that. Why?
Yeah.
What's the fucking reasoning? What is it? Why do aliens suddenly want to put cows inside places where they shouldn't be? Is this some form of communication? Is this the new crop circle?
You know what? When they're talking about these things, I swear it's like the scientists, because this is all the scientists presenting it, and they're all of this stuff I'm saying, they were presenting it like it was undeniable fact, even though they didn't even see it. But you know,
but this person told us, and therefore it must be true, because anecdotal evidence is always the evidence you should go on.
Because that's what they like base everything on when it comes to, like, you know, actual testimonies in court and that, because that's the best kind of evidence as a witness statement. Yeah,
it's not like that shit is basically inadmissible in a lot of situations because people
literally
are fucking crap at remembering anything.
Even when you're being honest, like, you know, and that straight away is hard enough to prove, in my opinion, with most people. Ignoring that, people it's like I watch these body behavior body language experts, that kind of stuff. And they were talking about how, like, with memories and that, they were like, bear in mind, she might not be lying, because every time you access a memory, you edit that memory at the same time. Yeah. That makes a lot of big fucking, you know, it makes a lot of sense when you think about how bad memories are.
Yeah, it corrupts over time, and like every cell in your body changes within every 7 years. So literally, like that entire memory has been changed from cells that were there to
Yeah.
cells that no longer, from cells that no longer
copied.
exist. Yeah. Like, yeah, that's gonna fuck it up every single time. It's like corrupting data in a Windows like PC.
It is.
Eventually, you've got to defrag the hard drive, and you lose some shit that you didn't want to lose.
Defragging, just like detoxing or getting really wasted. It's one of the two. One of them.
Technically, what defragging does is the sort of segmenting bits back into place. So I suppose defragging is sort of like therapy.
Well, like therapy, where you could just flick a switch and it's done. Imagine that.
No,
I've got this wrong with me. This thing's bothering me. Okay. I'm so happy. Oh,
sorted. Excellent.
That's drugs. We do have that one. We're on about.
Yeah. God.
Okay.
Yeah, Skinwalker Ranch is so fucking dumb, man.
You, surprisingly though, have a very different opinion of what it is than me.
Mm.
I mean, maybe there's some ghost stuff there. Sure. Maybe there's a bit. Maybe there's some aliens flying around there too. Sure. It's just, I mean, just Skinwalker Ranch. I'm going to focus on actually. All the people outside is just hearsay, in my opinion. People see what they want to see. They're all in that frame of mind. A lot of people are probably bullshitting because they just wanted some money for an interview. Some other people believed it just because they want to believe it. Whatever, psychology.
Yeah.
But this, first of all, there are so many of these stories that happened when the NIDS community just weren't there. They just weren't there. And all of a sudden, stuff happened suddenly. I'm getting ahead of myself. I'm getting vexed, Nathan. The cattle in the trailer.
Yeah.
You looked at that and thought, how would they get there? How would they get them in the trailer? This,
and why? What's the reasoning? Yeah.
Let's look at it a different way. How the fuck do we know they were ever in the trailer, Nathan?
Oh, absolutely, as well.
How do we know?
It could. Yeah. There's absolutely no proof to any of this.
No, the scientists don't know. Oh no, there was a door broken down.
Oh, of course, yeah, because no human could ever break a door.
No, they couldn't. Of course not.
No, doors are impenetrable. That's why we wear them as armor.
Exactly. But more importantly, the cattle mutilation. How could that ever happen?
Impossible. Human beings aren't capable of doing horrendous shit for stupid reasons.
They showed picture of the mutilations. Just as one of the things that Joe Rogan was talking about more on it when he was talking to George Knapp and Corbell about it. Showed him, and he's like, he loves being the alpha man huntsman. So he was like, well, that's really interesting because I swear he was going into it like it was a really scientific explanation. It was like the most obvious fucking thing ever. He was like, there's no blood around it, and if it was killed there would be blood around it.
Be a load of blood around it. Yeah.
Funnily enough, yeah.
And he's like, oh no, they suck out the blood first because it's like a chupacabra or something like that. I guess, yeah.
What the scientists and that were saying, in all fairness, they don't know. In their opinion, it must have been killed somewhere else and then brought there, which is the same as my opinion too. That's what must have happened.
What happened. Yeah.
And they're saying that I guess the aliens did it, took it back. Let's break it down for a second of what I think you're thinking the same as me right now. This was another situation when the NIDS team were on vacation and they called them and were like, oh, this is here. Come and have a look at it. We just found this. Almost as if, bearing in mind, this master huntsman, all this kind of stuff, maybe he could take the thing, kill it, maybe take it, kill it in his kitchen or wherever, get rid of the blood and then put it there. I mean, that's just me thinking that that's more likely than aliens.
I'm just. There's this thing that's going on in your head right now, Carl. And it's called logic, and you've got to throw that out. All right, you can't be using that.
I do. Okay? I know. What's wrong with me? Why should I do that in a scientific study? What is wrong with me, Nathan?
It's the same thing as anything else. It's someone who barely scraped through their PhD who thinks that they're a genius. And it's like, you're not though, are you? You're just a fucking fool and you wanted some money. And that's fine.
Yeah, the scientists are full-on scientists. Like that was one thing I will say. Like the scientists were proper, like, high-end scientists, hence why the billionaire went for them. But like you're saying, which I'm guessing you're saying as well, just because of that doesn't mean anything.
No, like people
Nothing.
can be bought out. People can
Exactly.
be,
It's almost like they were there for
so
20
easily
years.
as well.
And if they're there for 20 years and they want that money to keep on going, and as they said, every time they bring George Knapp down, nothing happened when I was there. Nothing's ever happened when he's been there. Jeremy Corbell, nothing's ever happened. Joe Rogan, nothing's ever happened.
Yeah.
Someone else that I'll mention at the end had appeared for no fucking reason.
It's remarkable that all of these local people see so much when it's almost like the aliens don't like foreigners, almost, isn't it? Like it's like, I don't like, not even foreigners, just people from out of town. It's like, you're not our kind of people. We can't be showing ourselves to you. We're hillbilly fucking aliens. We don't want nothing to do with you. We just want to steal the occasional cow, chop them up, throw them in the field again, and teleport a bunch of them into your trailer.
It must be that. It must be that. Yeah. It can't just be that everyone in that area has grew up and just got into this mindset and just thinks it now. It can't be that.
It's not even. I don't think it's even that. I guarantee you, if
in the town,
if
anyway,
this documentary, but if this documentary like was worth its salt, it would have had about 3, 4, 5 times the amount of people saying all of this is total bullshit, nothing ever happens around here. But they've just so happened to find the ones who fit their narrative of like, there's definitely a load of ghosts and alien shits happening on at Skinwalker Ranch. It's this, it's that, it's the other.
There was no one denying it.
No.
On the whole 2 hours from a document, honestly, over like 25 interviews all in all.
Yeah, because if they gave you a single fucking option of like the other side of the argument, you'd immediately question everything. Because it's all ridiculous, and it's the same thing with the ancient alien stuff. Like, some of the ancient alien stuff is really fascinating, and then they push it too far, and it's like,
that's always the problem.
What if this? Yeah, and it's like, but not that though, not that. You've got the intrigue, and then you've just assumed the intrigue, and now we're just following down this ridiculous path, which makes no fucking sense at all.
Nathan, you're doing it as well now. You're bringing logic into it. Stop doing that.
I'm going to stop being logic.
I'm going to read out this one bit here that I forgot I put in bold to make sure I remember to read it out. Just a little point. You were talking about the scientists then, about how, they're scientists, so they can't, they must just be there for... Anyway, George Knapp...
Yeah.
No. George Knapp said to the guy said that they weren't going in with any kind of agenda of what they wanted to discover or prove. He then literally moments later went on to say, but they felt passionately enough about it to investigate this in their own time, apparently, because they believed something important was going on. This is another example of a statement that, when said, it makes no fucking sense. It's flat earth all over again. You can't say... They have no agenda, nothing. They're completely, independent.
But at the same time, we believe wholeheartedly.
And they think it's really important that something's going on there and it needs to be proved. That doesn't work. That never works. They're going in there.
I don't know what to do. Look, and again, like, we're not a hard sell on UFOs. We're not a hard sell on aliens necessarily.
No.
But this shit where it's clear that some people are just trying to make as much money as they can or get as much attention as they can in their sad little lives, and this is the only thing they've got, is that they live near Skinwalker Ranch, and everyone could, I'll get on TV with Joe Rogan.
I know. I think a lot of them genuinely believe it, though. I think a lot of them do genuinely.
Oh yeah, maybe.
Well, I don't know, though. Actually, a lot of the people around the area, I don't know. Some of them seems like it's really hard to know, isn't it? Whether they're just saying that or they're really that dumb. Or whether they're really that dumb. I'm going to go with that, actually. I took it back.
Yeah, the difference between the fine line between, idiot and charlatan is
Yeah.
it's sometimes they don't even know they've made the switch themselves. They start off believing this thing is an idiot, and then they become a fucking, a liar about it all, or they start lying it and then they start believing their own bullshit. You just yeah.
I was just going through with some of the notes and to see. I think we've actually covered. There's one thing at the end I'm going to cover. I'm just going to quickly mention. Actually, I'm not going to go through all the notes, but I've noticed some of the notes that by this point I was very much like, "What the fuck is this, man?"
Yeah, he's just given up on making more notes.
Well, on the Lost Tapes 3, which was like the next tape of all this footage you had that they put together in like little Lost Tape segments. My first note was, do I even need to bother writing this crap down anymore? Apparently it shakes underneath all the time. Machinery sounds underground. It's definitely not. Yeah, they were saying it shakes all the time and it sounds like machinery. I'm pretty sure earthquakes happen and things, and it could be anything.
Not even that.
And they were talking about bulldozers and stuff they've got around. And
I never heard it in Joe Rogan's thing or this. Why again wasn't it? If the Earth is always shaking,
yeah.
Why are you able to walk up to the front gates and nothing's shaking? Just
apparently, one thing they have found is higher radiation in the area, but that could be anything again. Like
it could be anything.
There might have been a cult of yoga people trying to make a nuke for
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it could just be a higher level of uranium in the area than in other areas similar to it nearby. Background radiation is everywhere,
I'm going to finish it now just with mentioning like the... So there's a lot of bits that they just didn't seem to include, a lot of details. I'm like, okay, we're just going to... Okay. So for some reason, they gloss over the fact that there's a new owner now in the documentary. But then they went and spoke to the new owner. The new owner seems to be a bit more, like, oh yeah, come and have a look. We'll go around. Really excited about it. He didn't want to show his face though, so they had to take away his name. Although I swear his name is out there when I looked on Wikipedia, but it wasn't at the time. I can't remember what it was now. And they were doing the interview with him, and he was getting really excited, showing them some of the few evidence he had, like making out it was like crazy shit, because he was like, well, the stuff they had before, he's another billionaire guy, the stuff they had before, wasn't that great. It wasn't very up to standards and that. So we've redone it all, upgraded everything. And then he got really excited about this evidence they had. And it was just a few photos of like every other one of just a normal desert scene with a little white disc in the sky, maybe. That's it. I'm like, how was that even from Skinwalker? I thought Skinwalker was supposed to be looking at Skinwalker. That's the sky. It was like pointing away. There was nothing in the background. Thing, like,
a lot of the rumors about Skinwalker Ranch was it's like, oh yeah, it's a secret military operation, and it's like it's doing secret operational research on like aliens and stuff, and it's a meeting point for aliens and stuff like this. And it's like, oh my god,
and we already know that way before this time they were already doing all this stuff, looking into aliens. It was from like the 70s they've been doing this stuff that's all come out now. So it's like, I don't even understand how them talking about that stuff.
And Skinwalker Ranch isn't mentioned a single one of these fucking things. Let's make that fucking clear. It's not like it's not like when all the UFO stuff came out. Suddenly there was like, and yes, we've seen Skinwalker Ranch was mentioned in the UFO files that they've released. Not fucking once, as far as I'm aware.
As far as I'm aware, I feel like something would have come out about that by now. Especially seeing as this new guy who's doing all this evidence as well. If they had anything, surely we'd have known.
It's horse shit, and it's sad as well, because I almost would put money on the fact that the new owner is probably someone who was really into the mythos of Skinwalker Ranch and was like, oh, I'll buy it and I'll prove it. I'll be the one who finally proves it, from someone who previously owned it who just didn't give a shit, maybe.
Don't feel sorry for him, because one thing he said was, after he was going through all this evidence and stuff, he was like, the one bit they showed at the end, they were like, not at the end, but one bit at the end of his interview, they were like, what would you say to someone who looked at everything that's happened to Skinwalker Ranch and wasn't sure if it was true? And he was like, I can't remember the exact verbiage to use, but it was something like, I think they're delusional idiots. What? What?
Oh, it takes
Him.
one to know one, doesn't
Yeah.
it? I mean,
Him saying that. But this is not the craziest part. After all this, just all this bullshit that went on, the craziest
Yeah.
part of this whole documentary was randomly at the end, they were going through doing this stuff, you know, looking around Skinwalker with these people. In the end, they were sitting around the fire talking about how George Knapp, Corbell, a few others, talking about all the times they've been there, they've never actually seen anything. Nothing's ever happened. How frustrating that is, but it's still true. But then for some reason, out of nowhere, Robbie Williams is there with them.
what? Why?
No reason. No, they make no point of it. He's just talking about it. Says he
Is
doesn't
he
want
their new expert?
says he doesn't want a ghost to follow him back. That's about it.
Oh, fuck me. Oh,
Not
God.
a single explanation of why he was there. Not.
I think he genuinely is into sort of sci-fi,
Yeah.
UFO kinds of things.
But why include him like that? It's so weird. It's like this is an American documentary as well.
Because
They
it's
wouldn't even
Star
know him
Power,
over
and
there.
literally,
Not over there though.
but someone will look in IMDb and it will be like, Robbie Williams was in this. Oh, I'll have a watch because I'm a Robbie Williams fan. And
That's a fair point.
yeah, that's literally all
The
it is.
credits.
It's just to draw people in to watch this awful abomination of a documentary.
No, you know what? Yeah, you're right. It's a credit. I would,
Yeah.
Nathan. I would recommend you watch this, but get ready to hate watch it.
Yeah, I'm almost certain I will.
It's on a
Fuck that
it's
shit,
on Prime.
man.
It's on Prime. It's like 2
Yeah,
hours.
yeah.
Though. Get the skip ready. Get the skip button ready.
Yeah, just keep going.
you
Okay,
don't
this
want
guy's
this.
bullshit. This guy's bullshit. This guy's bullshit.
This was literally since then. I've been trying to find any actual evidence, anything. There was nothing.
Not to do with Skinwalker Ranch. Skinwalker Ranch is
Nothing.
probably
Not even
just
the
a
area.
private property. Yeah, it's just no one cares.
The
No one
most
fucking cares. And the paranormal stuff was something I'd never heard before. The fact that it was like, oh yeah, it's all this spiritual ghosty stuff. Oh fuck me.
Oh, there's loads of really cool stories of stuff they've apparently done. Loads of really cool
Yeah.
poltergeist stories.
Oh fuck.
Most haunted are better at recording actual footage than them.
Yeah, Derek fucking or
Oh, not
Acora
Derek
or whatever
Acora,
it is.
Aidan.
Yeah.
I buy into parts.
Derek
of
Acora is a fucking
some-
joke. Jesus
Yeah.
Christ.
I only buy into like ghost hunting stuff when if they have episodes where a lot of the episodes fuck all happens and they openly admit fuck all happened, and even if they got scared, they're like, we got scared, but I don't think anything paranormal actually happened.
Yeah,
Then I believe them when stuff does happen. A bit more anyway, you know. It's like if you were faking it, why would you make programs where nothing happens?
Yeah,
That's
and
risky.
it's always something like, oh, there was a noise. Oh, great, because noises never happen by themselves.
No.
Fuck
See, I
me.
believe.
Like,
I know that me and my gothic mate were talking the other day about going to when everything's open again, going and doing like ghost, because I was talking to him about this and we was on about going to do like ghost walks and stuff and ghost things, like, you know, where you're in a place, but only if it was just me and him, like, you know, not like a tour and all these people and we could stay overnight. You pay a bit more, you can do it. I'd love to do it, but I know I'd be the dick. He's like,
yeah,
I could have been a mouse, to be fair, man. Could have been anything.
yeah.
I'd love something legit to happen because I've seen.
The thing is,
This-
I'd like to be
I
that
have
guy, but
seen
I reckon
one-
I'd probably get there and then end up being the bitch who was like, "What was that noise?"
Whatever, as long as you record yourself, it's all good. Content, baby. I do, you know, I will finish this off. I do have a legitimate ghost story that happened to me,
Okay.
but it was when I was younger, and I just know that memories can get edited, so I don't trust it as much now. And the person I was with at the time now seems to think it was a bag, despite believing it for like 10 years. But I'm like, has he edited this in his head now
Yeah.
to try and make it make sense, or have I edited this? But what I remember, I was in this. We always walk through this graveyard all the time to get to the field that we used to chill in. But we had all the different places and that, and we'd been there loads, and it was completely sober. It was like 10 o'clock, and we were just going to play some games of his because he lived on the other side. And we walked through, and all of a sudden it just went silent, the whole graveyard, and it's right by a road as well, which is strange, but it just went completely silent. And then random bells went off around us, and just they're not there normally. But then there was just turned around, and there was just some glowing white woman bowing down over a grave for a bit, and then it just stopped and kind of missed it away.
Oof.
I was 100% certain that that's what I saw at the time. So was he. He's not as convinced now, but it wasn't far away from us. And I don't know. I still kind of believe that I saw that. What it was, I don't know. I still think, if anything, ghosts are bleed throughs from alternate realities. If there's anything to it, I think it's alternate dimensions, stuff like that, just bleeding through, you know. So they wouldn't be the ghost. It's not dead people to me. It doesn't make much sense.
That's so strange. Like that,
it was weird,
that
man.
kind of shit.
It was
I'm
weird.
so glad I don't have to sort of. I haven't experienced anything like that. I don't need anything like that in my life. I don't need to have that fucking that.
It wasn't
bullshit.
scary though. It wasn't scary at the time. I reckon you'd probably be fascinated by it as well.
Yeah, probably. I don't know.
But that's
weird.
More evidence than Skinwalker Ranch or ever.
I just ever had. Yeah,
than ever had. Because
that sounds to me more believable. That sounds like something that sort of you could imagine happening, as opposed to, yeah, man, there was this giant wolf and it came up to me and it was trying to get petted on the nose because I really love myself a fucking wolf, man. I like wolves. Wolves like me because I'm cool, man.
So here's the thing with that story. Like, he was my mate at the time. Now he was saying that it was a carry bag, and I was just thinking, well, at the time, I was sure it wasn't a carry bag. So did you think it was a carry bag then? You knew all this time and we're just going with it? Like,
there's a carrier bag with a lot of bells in it. Like
none of it made sense to me what he said, but I just don't trust it because I was younger and it's been a long time. But I don't know. I wouldn't go to the. I wouldn't. What is it? Die on the hill to argue it. But I think that's what I saw. Well, I know that's what I saw. That's what I remember seeing is a better way. That's how I remember it all completely. And it's always, every time I've explained to someone in that time, I don't feel like it's ever changed, but I don't know. I can't know.
Like the closest I've ever come is like I've been in old buildings occasionally where my my aunt and uncle would rent out like an old sort of manor house thing somewhere, and we get all of the family together and everyone would be there. It's like 15 people. And when it was at night in some of these old places, you'd occasionally get the sensation that someone was watching you or something. But other than that, it's like, you know.
I do believe that if there is something to it, I do believe as well, to be fair, that there is. I believe in the idea of being sensitive to some of this stuff. If you're really open-minded to it, I believe that could be real.
Yeah.
Where I draw the line is when people are like, well, I'm talking to this man over here and he's standing in the corner and he's telling me this, but at the same time, I've got this gopher over here that's trying to scratch against my knee.
Yeah.
Or it's like, I'm going to go over here and I'm going to help them move to the other side because I can do that. Or it's this and this. But then the noise happens behind them and they shit themselves. So, okay.
Yeah.
It's just, I don't buy that.
The people who try and make themselves out to be the smartest person in the room when it comes down to it. And also, like, they're dumb most of the time. The people who think they're really, really, really smart are really fucking stupid for the vast majority of the time. And so, again, it's those stories where it's like, oh, yeah, this happened, and then this happened, and then this happened, and then this happened. And it's like, no, but if you just kept it at one level of the story, maybe I would have believed you.
Yeah,
you had to embellish to the point where it seems fucking ridiculous.
Kind of like a wrestling company making a big giant street fight and changing it into a barbed wire death match and changing it into an exploding barbed wire death match. And then when they tried to explode the ring at the end of it, like they promised for half an hour, it didn't explode and it just went pew.
Yeah. There's just all the explosives going off at the same time.
Did I ever show you that? What actually happened? At the end
you
of that?
did. Yeah.
Fuck me, that was ridiculous. Amazing, but ridiculous. Yeah. I love the ending of that for the same reason that I love the ending of this documentary with Robbie Williams.
Yeah,
it wasn't WWE.
Yeah. Oh, wasn't it? Oh, it was AEW, wasn't it? Yeah.
WWE, I think, if they were going to explode a ring, they would do it well because they have
the budget.
That's the worst thing. AEW have just as much budget because they're billionaires, but WWE just give a shit about production value. I'm a media snob. I can't fucking make it worse. You know what makes it worse about that? The Wednesday after that exploding thing, they had so much flack about their production value. Like, we're gonna explain it away. They did a really good little promo between the guys that were lying on the floor in the ring about how the one guy had a panic attack from when he almost died before, and he was like, I just kind of fainted. He did what he could. He's a good talker. But then they'd actually managed to get that little bit of sickness out of people's mouths about the production value of everything and how terrible it was. So then they had a match where it was this guy, I forget his name because I didn't really know him, but he was from TNA and he debuted at the pay-per-view before. And then he had his first ever singles match on Dynamite. And you know what happened? Couldn't watch any of the match because the whole fucking match was just bleed through from some NBA game that was going on, and all you could hear was sneakers running around. That squeaky noise. I can't do it. All you could hear every time they did, like, because there's constantly baskets being scored in basketball. Every time you'd hear that noise, it was like and that as well, and commentating, fucking ridiculous.
God.
I'm beginning to. I don't know if I can watch AEW anymore. I don't know.
Yeah.
Well, I can, but I
that's the thing as well.
I hate watching.
They're the only. Yeah, they're the only competitor as well. It's like, what else can you do?
Luckily WWE, in my opinion, is actually doing pretty fucking good right now. Some of it's still utter fucking terribleness, but you expect that. If you go into a wrestling show expecting it to all be perfect, expecting to love it all, and not having to just ignore some utter stupidity, you're watching the wrong program. You are watching the wrong thing.
Yeah, it's all about the spectacle at the end of the day. It's not about the storyline, is it?
It's about I don't know what it's about, to be honest, Nathan. I don't know, but it's something.
It's entertainment, isn't it?
It's entertainment.
God.
Oh my fucking God. But before we get on to your story then, just for everyone watching at home, just want to give you, forget what I was about to say. I'm just going to give you a little preview for the quiz that will be coming tomorrow, but then I realised this will be going out after that.
Yeah.
In that case, actually, give me 1 second. Hold on. So, coming up then, next week on the 24th of March will be the KD Comedian Quiz Off Birthday Bash Edition. I am going to be an old man the Tuesday before, so I am going to get very drunk on the Wednesday, going to invite a load of my favourite people for that quiz. I might do 8 people, to be honest. I might make it a smorgasbord of comedic brilliance.
Yeah.
But that's will be the next one afterwards anyway.
Yeah, sweet.
Oh, okay then, my man. I think it is down to you now.
Okay, right. This is an interesting story. It's not really in the terms of a
we cover all things interesting here, Nathan.
Yeah, this is the thing. It's not a conspiracy theory. Instead, it's just a story of a man who was probably the most badass British soldier to have ever walked on this earth.
Banging! No, I'm all down for these ones. I did a story a while back about. Have you heard of the Japanese soldier who fought World War II for like 30 years?
Oh yeah, and
like,
they had to get his fucking commander to come out and then say, "Trust me, the war is over. You can come home, bro."
That's commitment, man.
Yeah, man.
I'm all down for this.
Yeah. So this is the story of Jack Churchill, right? He was born John Malcolm Thorpe Fleming Churchill.
Wow, that is a name.
Yeah. He is DSO and bar, MC and bar.
What?
So that's just like literally fucking like what is DSO again? Distinguished Service Order, the Medal Bar, and the Military Cross.
When you said MC, I thought you were generally saying he was a rapper or something.
Yeah, he was like, "Yeah, bro, sick MC."
I hear of war. Sorry, that's a good song.
Yeah, I'm called John Churchill, and yeah, I get my fill.
I went to the army. I shot the guys. I came over here. I can't even do it. I can't. I'm not going to
So yeah, he was born the 16th of September, 1906.
Okay. I'm gonna assume no relation to Winston Churchill.
No relation to Winston Churchill. However, he was Scottish, and the way I like to see it is that our Churchill is the British form of Churchill, and this Churchill is the Scottish form of Churchill. Like just how like Winston Churchill for the British, for the English especially, was like a leader of men. This guy was also a leader of men, but in a very different, far more Rambo way, because John Malcolm Thorpe Fleming Churchill DSO and Bar MC and Bar was the only British Army officer who fought the Second World War with a longbow, bagpipes, and a Scottish broadsword.
Wow. Okay. I mean, I don't know how smart that is, but he sounds like a fucking G straight away.
Dude is a goddamn champion, right? And it only gets more incredible as the war goes along, right? So
wow.
He died in the 8th of March 1996, aged 89 years old in Surrey. He had a fucking excellent life, right? In his early life, he was born to Alec Fleming Churchill and Eleanor Elizabeth. He had a couple of brothers. One of them died in the war during the Navy. Another one was also a pretty badass commander. He was educated at King's William College on the Isle of Man. He graduated the Royal Military College Sandhurst in 1926 and served in Burma with the Manchester Regiment, where apparently he really enjoyed riding his motorcycle. He's just gone up more badass. We're talking about a guy on a motorbike with a claymore, bagpipes, and a goddamn
longbow and a giant sword.
Yeah, I mean, the guy's a champion, right? So
I hope he's wearing a kilt and stuff when he's doing this.
Yeah.
Well, actually, a kilt on a motorbike, that doesn't sound like a big good idea, actually.
Yeah, well,
that would be drafty. Yeah.
Yeah. So, in 1936, after serving in Burma, Churchill left the army and worked as a newspaper editor in Nairobi, Kenya.
All right.
Yeah. So,
great.
He was also in Hong Kong, British Hong Kong, before when he was younger, between 1907 and 1910, I think it was.
I'm guessing a lot of them would have been a lot more still linked to the British Empire then. I know it wasn't the main time, but it still would have been a lot more linked, I'm guessing.
Definitely. But, the guy travelled, man. He also spent time as a male model.
All right.
Yeah. He used his archery and bagpipe talents to play a small role in the 1924 film The Thief of Baghdad. He also appeared.
What are you going to say, Robin Hood then?
Yeah, he also appeared in the 1938 film A Yank at Oxford. He cooked.
Wait, what? A Yank at Oxford?
Yeah, I'm going to take a quick jump into the Yank at Oxford. This is the That's the cover of the Yank of Oxford. The Yank at Oxford.
Oh my God. Okay. I love those old style film posters, though. To be honest.
Oh yeah, man. Yeah, like the hand drawn stuff is fucking beautiful.
Yeah, lovely. I need to get some of them.
Yeah. So he did that. He then took second place in the 1938 military piping competition at the Aldershot Tattoo.
Oh yeah.
Yes, and in
piping
1939,
we're not talking
about bagpiping.
Oh, okay. See,
yeah,
okay.
Not just piping. No.
No, I was going more like Bake Off, that kind of thing.
Oh right,
piping the ice in. James Mcavoy is on there right now, by the way.
Yeah, that's so messed up. Like this year, they've managed to get some genuine fucking celebrities on, like what's her face from Star Wars as well.
Daisy Ridley.
That's the one.
She made a toilet cake and it wasn't very good. Her toilet cake was the shit.
The shits.
The bad kind of shit.
Yeah. So he's had a great time up till now. In 1939, he's represented Britain at the World Archery Championships in Oslo.
No.
But then, what else happened in 1939?
Well, I don't know. I think it was a very peaceful time, wasn't it?
Yeah, very, 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 very peaceful time with this
I
very,
don't
very
think
wonderful
anything
chap called Hitler, and there was nothing to worry about, nothing at all. Okay, everything is
You're
fine.
all lovely people, yeah.
Yeah. So, World War II kicks in, and Churchill resumes his commission in the military. Literally after Germany invaded Poland in 1939, he was assigned to the Manchester Regiment, which was sent to France in the British Expeditionary Force. In May 1940, Churchill and some of his men ambushed a German patrol near Lepinette, near Ruchberg, Pas de Calais. Pas de Calais? Pas de Calais.
I think that sounded beautiful, Nathan.
Yeah, we. Churchill gave the signal to attack by raising his fucking claymore.
Is that the sword?
That's the Scottish broadsword, and it is a big fucking broadsword. It's a two-hander.
Man, I know exactly what you mean. The one guy, Drew McIntyre in wrestling, he walks out with a giant sword, and his special move is the claymore kick. So that makes so much sense now.
That's exactly what it. Yeah.
Makes so much sense.
Yeah.
Never knew that.
But that's only the start of it. So he lifts up this sword like, "Aye, we're gonna come for you, you wee cunts, yeah, so we are." Right? They all charge. They mess up these guys, and there's a rumor during the ensuing combat that apparently Churchill killed a German with his longbow in this action. Literally, the Germans had machine guns, and he's like, thump. It's like fucking Hawkeye.
I mean, to be fair, if there's a group of them and they're shooting with guns, you're still gonna hit one, I guess. Well, you could.
Yeah.
So yeah,
but this is only the tip of the iceberg of how badass this guy turned out to be.
Okay.
Because
he always has badass.
Yeah. Churchill later said that his bows had actually been crushed by a lorry earlier in the campaign, so that didn't happen at all.
Oh.
Only diminishing his story by the tiniest possible amount, though, because he moves on into Norway in 1941. Churchill was the second in command of No. 3 Commando Division in Operation Archery, a raid on a German garrison at I have no idea how to pronounce that, Norway. On the 27th.
Archery.
Yeah, exactly. Who the hell else are you going to have apart from the guy who turns up with a motherfucking bow?
Well, yeah. Well, he got crushed by a lorry, apparently.
Yeah.
But
I'm sure he could build himself a new one out of just nothing but his own teeth.
Super creative naming, and I'm sure it's got nothing to actually do with archery. That would be really obvious.
Yeah. As the ramps fell on the first landing craft, he leapt forward from his position, playing March of the Cameron Men on his bagpipes before throwing a grenade and charging into battle. For his actions at Dunkirk, Churchill received the Military Cross and Bar.
Amazing.
This is not even over yet, right? We get to Italy in 1943. In July 1943, as a commanding officer, he led Commando 2 from their landing site in Catania, Sicily, with his trademark Scottish broadsword slung around his waist, a longbow and arrows around his neck, and bagpipes under his arm, which he also did in the landings at Salerno. So, like, every single time this guy is landing and fighting, he's just like, I gotta make sure I got my broadsword, gotta make sure I got my longbow, gotta make sure I got my bagpipes. Let's play some music, lads!
He's a soldier in the army with a better and more full-on gimmick than about 70% of wrestlers out there.
Absolutely, yeah.
Crazy. Ridiculous. Just coming down. I love that. It makes no sense why you would do that, but it's just amazing that he did.
It's because he is an absolute hero and a badass of the first fucking water, and there's nothing anyone can do to stop him.
I agree. I'll be disappointed.
I shit you not. Right? Leading the commando unit, he was ordered to capture a German observation post outside the town of Molina. With the help of a corporal, he infiltrated the town, captured the post, taking 42 prisoners, including a mortar squad. Churchill led the men and prisoners back down the pass, with the wounded being carried on carts pushed by the German prisoners. He commented that it was an image from the Napoleonic Wars. He's like, yes, it's like when we were kicking the shit out the French. Oh shit.
Napoleon, did you know Napoleon was actually quite like normal sized?
Yeah, like for his time, he was fairly average. Yeah, because everyone back then was fucking short.
Well, yeah, like just they made out that he was like super short, like in comparison. He was just average height.
Yeah. Oh, by the way, as well, he received the distinctive service order for that action in Salerno. He then later walked back into the town to retrieve his sword, which he had lost in hand-to-hand combat with the German regiment.
That's even better. That's even
He
better.
was actually using the fucking sword, Carl.
And then, even better than that as well, just a pure, like, I've got to go back and get it. Because God knows what, you're in an area that you were fighting with Germans a second ago. I wouldn't be completely sure that it's safe to go back there. Yeah,
but this is, he was notoriously said, where was it? Any officer who goes into action without his sword is improperly dressed.
Yeah. No, I love that. Like, it's like the Marines, isn't it? Like, without my gun, I am nothing. Without me, my gun is nothing.
Yeah, this is my rifle. This is my gun. Yeah. So yeah, as part of the McLean mission in 1944 in Yugoslavia, he led the commandos where they supported Josip Broz Tito's partisans from the Adriatic island of Vis.
Oh, that's
he was ordered to. Yeah, basically he'd been moved around a lot, and he was finally sort of taking on the further deeper parts of Europe into Yugoslavia and places like that.
Oh yeah.
The landing was unopposed, but on seeing the gun emplacements from which they later encountered German fire, partisans decided to defer the attack until the following day. Churchill's bagpipes signalled the remaining commandos into battle, obviously.
Yes. Why wouldn't you? Why wouldn't you?
Because he just doesn't give a fuck.
No, it's a fucking
G. Let them know we're coming, lads.
He sounds like the epitome of the kind of guy you would want on your team, like, to go into battle, even if he wasn't that great of a warrior. But he is like a morale builder, like, surely.
And not only that, but this guy literally chops Germans up with a fucking sword.
Yeah, he was a great warrior too.
Yeah. So he gets strafed by an RAF Spitfire and decided to withdraw for the night and relaunch the attack the following morning because those stupid airy bastards can't tell what they're shooting at properly.
What was it that actually happened then? My mic was
so like literally he's in the middle of the fight. He's seeing the commandos to battle. And then he gets strafed by an RAF Spitfire because they're fighting them in the pitch black of night and they don't know what the fuck they're shooting at. So he's like, all right, okay, we'll wait till tomorrow when we can see the enemy.
Fucking lucky. That shit would not work nowadays, like thermal imaging and all that.
Yeah, and I mean, especially with the kinds of weapons they've got on those planes, you just watch an entire, the A10C
it's a shame,
man.
Modern times now, it means that we can't have badasses like this running around.
Yeah,
that is the real shame. God,
there are similar badasses, but in different ways. Like there's not really been a big enough war to give someone an opportunity to be this badass, if that makes sense.
Give it time.
Give it time, yeah. But then, unfortunately, he was captured after his Yugoslavia attack, right? So the following morning,
carrying the massive stuff he took into every battle with him.
Yeah. So like the RAF Spitfire strafes him. He decides to go back, get a kit, and come back in the morning. But in the following morning, a flanking attack that he led ended up getting. Oh fuck's sake! Yeah, it's only I managed to get fucked up basically before they managed to make it to the landing area. Only Churchill and 6 others managed to reach the objective. A mortar shell killed or wounded everyone else but
Ooh.
Churchill. So a mortar strike comes in, detonates his entire squad, and you know what his choice is to do?
Save the
What he
bagpipes.
think? He plays the bagpipes, Carl.
That's amazing.
He actually plays the fucking bagpipes, right?
Wow.
He plays "Will Ye Nor Come Back Again," and then on his bagpipes, as the Germans advanced, the Germans, seeing this crazy fucking bagpiping maniac with a claymore on his back, decide, we aren't dealing with this shit, and they throw a shit ton of grenades at him, which only succeed in knocking him out. He is not killed.
I mean, what? Okay.
This guy has a mortar shell hit his squad. He then gets grenaded and he just goes for a light snooze.
What the fuck? And why would they? Okay. Why were they throwing grenades? Why did they not just be as much of a badass as he is? Why not just
because he was entrenched, and the only way they could get near him was to go through the bagpipes and claymore.
Fucking hell. That's the epitome of a G. These guys have never seen him before, but we don't even know anything about him, and they've just seen him, seen what he's doing, and like, I ain't going near that guy. Get the grenades.
I do not want to go near him. This man is terrifying.
He will kill us, yeah. What the grenades?
Yeah.
Best I can do.
Oh shit. Yeah, and it only gets more mad from there as well. So he gets transferred to a concentration camp. And on September 1944, 3 Air Force officers, survivors of the Great Escape, actual survivors of the Great Escape.
It's not that hard.
Excuse me.
It's not that hard to survive a film, is it?
Yeah. No, but genuinely, these 3 Air Force officers were actually, that's what that story is based around. And Major Johnny Dodge escaped Sachsenhausen, I can't fucking pronounce that properly, using a tunnel dug by themselves in secret. Churchill and Royal Air Force officer Bertram James attempted to walk to the Baltic coast.
All right.
That's hundreds of miles, I think.
It didn't sound near.
Yeah.
And the Baltic, just everything about it sounds cold and not something you want to just walk to.
Fucking freezing, miserable place. And they were captured near the German coastal city of Rostock, again, a few kilometers from the sea. So they were literally kilometers from the sea, and they get captured. In late April 1945, Churchill and about 140 other prominent concentration camp inmates were transferred to Tyrol, guarded by SS troops. A delegation of prisoners told senior German army officers they feared they would be executed. A German army unit commanded by Captain Richard von Alzeben. Moved. Yeah. It's hard, man. Moved into the
imagine being like a child, like in Germany and back then, trying to grow up and learn the language and try and pronounce it.
Yeah. I mean, even now, like the standard for the German language is why say something with one word when you can use 10.
I've got a mate who's one of the guy who reminded me of Weed Fiend. Apparently he spent the whole lockdown. He'd always wanted to learn German. He'd learned little bits. He spent like the whole lockdown while having his new child and stuff, learning German. And now he's fluent.
Oh, fucking hell. I should have done that. I kept meaning to. I was learning German for a bit and Chinese. But, that shit's hard, man.
Yeah. I like French. I hate the French people. I like the language and the country itself.
That makes sense. Yeah.
I went there and
I mean, that's why the British have been trying to get rid of the French for ages, because where they live is wonderful.
Yeah.
But, the French.
Yeah. I went there and one of the French children kicked sand in my eyes. So
What
my
a little
racism comes.
shitbag.
Yeah, that's where
Yeah,
my racism
fuck
for
them.
French people comes from.
Yeah, acceptable on every level. Fuck them.
Acceptable. Kick
Yeah.
sand in my eyes. I hate you forever. As
Yeah,
the whole
fuck that
country,
bitch.
you as a people.
Yeah, you're all vicious cunts.
And that was how World War II was started.
Oh shit, where was I?
Yes.
Okay. So
the cold thing.
the captain, the German captain, moves in to protect the prisoners and make sure the SS guards don't kill them.
Oh yeah,
The outnumbered SS guards move out, leaving the prisoners behind. The prisoners were then released, and after the departure of the Germans, Churchill walked 150 kilometers, 93 miles,
That's a long way.
to Verona, Italy, where he met an American armored unit. Bearing in mind that the war in Europe is over now, he has been released. What does he decide?
Oh, he just
to do?
got released. Okay, I was going to say, how did he get out? Yeah.
They literally just released him because the SS were considering just killing all the fucking remaining prisoners because they're SS pricks. And
I thought maybe we'll keep the heat up us a little bit. Just let them go.
Yeah.
I mean,
Like
that was the smartest thing you could do at that point.
Yeah, the smartest thing that Richard von Alvensleben.
And that gives them more time to go to Argentina as well.
Yeah, exactly.
Do you know about that? All the Argentinians. Yeah,
Oh,
that's a good one to cover sometimes.
Shitloads of fucking Germans ended up in Argentina.
The Nazis, especially.
Yeah. In Burma in 1945, the Pacific War was still on, so Churchill was sent to Burma, where some of the largest land battles against the Japanese were actually fought.
Yeah.
By the time Churchill reached India, however, Hiroshima and Nagasaki had been bombed, and the war ended. Churchill was said to be very, very unhappy with the state of affairs.
You know what? I agree with Mr. Churchill.
Yeah. His quote. Sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead. Because I want to know why he was unhappy with. So
his exact quote was, "If it wasn't for those damn Yanks, we could have kept the war going for another 10 years."
Not what I was getting at. Okay.
You thought. I know what you thought. You thought he was going to say, like, "I've served my country well. I'm so glad to be able to go home." Nah, he wanted to stay there and kill more Japanese people.
I thought he was going to say something like, I always say, like, now, like, you know, it's so weird that we talk about, like, all these, like, America and England talk about, like, you know, all these atrocities that people have done, ignoring the fact that they blew up, like, 2 cities in a moment. I thought he was going to say something about how bad that was, but no.
Literally, like, a million people vanish. Yeah.
But so I thought he was going to be like, that's not the way you do blah, blah, blah. But no, he just wanted more time to kill more people.
Yeah, no, he doesn't give a shit about that. Oh, he just wanted to be in war for as long as physically possible to use his claymore.
He should have, you know, all he should have done. He should have gone to that freaking jungle we was on about where that Japanese soldier was, and they could have just carried on fighting World War II for 30 years.
Oh,
find each other.
Claymore versus fucking samurai sword, just katana against fucking, you know, Scottish steel.
He did have some kind of sword. I remember the hero.
They all did, yeah.
Anoka. Something like that.
Although quite a lot of the swords were shite. Like,
Yeah.
really, really, really poorly made. And it was only like the officers' swords that were actually worth using in fights, realistically. The bayonets were what the standard Japanese soldiers used.
Wasn't the bayonet the bit that's on the gun, the stabby bit?
Yeah. And it made the guns fucking inaccurate as hell. So that's why they all just charged and Banzai! That's what they shouted, man.
No, it's crazy as well. People forget about this concept. Like, you take the mick out of, like, the way the Japanese acted during World War II, and I think people forget that it's not a debatable thing. All the Japanese people, the majority of them, were fucking methed up or something to fuck. They were all high as fuck on stuff.
Well,
hence why they kamikaze people.
Yeah, they genuinely believed that the Emperor of Japan was a god, a living human god, basically.
Sorry, Nathan. If that doesn't say I'm on drugs all the time, what does?
Yeah, well, it's the same with North Korea, isn't it?
Oh yeah,
and China for a while before they had their communist revolution.
Was that the thing that led to all the riots? Or was that
well,
a while
that was
ago?
the chairman Mao of it all. Yeah, that was quite a while ago. It was it was before World War II.
Oh, okay.
I think. Yeah, it's before World War II, but I can't remember if it was before or after World War One. I think it was after.
So what is that?
Yeah.
Just a brief broad stroke.
So basically, I think China had an emperor of some kind or something like that, and it was it wasn't going great for everyone. So then Chairman Mao built up his People's Revolution, and then they took over China, and they fucking they killed an incredibly large amount of people.
Was that? I'm guessing he wasn't the one that's been going on until now.
No,
no.
Mao
Of course, no. Yeah, I just realised the time frame in my head. Yeah, but I'm guessing they don't have the most. Like we were talking about Russia with the anthrax story you said before. I'm guessing they don't have the most diplomacy over there either.
Yeah, not the greatest. No. yeah, they're not all that interested in working with other people that much.
I almost did this week, just why this was on my mind then. This week, I almost did, before Babylon's I was going to do just the general atrocities of the Chinese government. Just a general idea of why the Chinese government are not good people.
Yeah, and it's depressing. It's really depressing because they just keep doing shit as well. They just don't stop.
I could see something going bad with China because the way people are finally now like the questioning where the virus came from, for example, how it got to this point, why it got to this point, why any of the people, and how it just works with like what was going on in the city at the time with the protests. Then all of a sudden it was nothing, and then at the same time they're also doing concentration camps. For enforcing,
and getting for their Muslim community, it's like, oh well, okay,
Muslim,
we'll just but they are Islam. Yeah, they are.
It's a branch. It's a branch of that. Yeah, there's I can't remember the names. Like something beginning with a G. That's all I remember. I think.
Yeah.
So I'm definitely going to do that at some point. Just talk about the bullshit that the Chinese government do.
The thing is as well.
It's hard to talk about, isn't it? Without saying bad.
And they try and force the shit on everyone else, and it's not cool. It's like, oh well, we've got our own way of doing this kind of business. You've got to sort of build up with a Chinese company to work in China. And it's like, oh,
no,
just fuck off. Like, it's just fuck these fuckers, man. I hate it. I hate it so much when people just make arbitrary rules like, oh, you're not allowed to have pictures of Winnie the Pooh on the Chinese internet because someone made a joke about what's his face looking like fucking Winnie the Pooh.
Yeah.
I mean, come on. This
that
is the
just
kind
shows
of
how
shit that
small of a person that guy is, really.
Yeah.
You can't deal with that. You're running a fucking country. If you haven't got enough thick skin to do that, like, come on.
Yeah. And also, it's a lovable children's cartoon character. You really can't take being connected to a lovable children's cartoon character.
He probably heard poo, knew what that meant in English.
In English, and just thought, no, I don't want anything to do with this.
I could see that.
Yeah.
Oh man, blah, blah.
Yeah. So where was I?
The Japanese, what he said about how I wish this fucking war could have gone on longer, which I love him for that.
But that isn't even where it stopped for him, because post Second World War, he goes to British Palestine and is qualified as a parachutist, transferred to the Seaforth Highlanders, and was posted to a mandatory Palestine as an executive officer of the 1st Battalion, Highland Light Infantry. Yeah, I don't know. I am just reading.
In Palestine, a place.
Yeah, he was in Palestine. Yeah.
He was sent to
But
Palestine.
somewhere-
He was forced to go to Palestine, I'm guessing, or he had to go for some reason.
Yeah, he was posted there after
Yeah,
joining
yeah.
up with the Fourth Highlanders. In the spring of 1948, just before the end of the British mandate in the region, he became involved in another conflict.
Oh,
Along
my
with
man.
12 of his soldiers,
man.
he attempted to assist the Hadassah medical convoy that came under attack by Arab forces. Churchill
That
was
was-
one of the first men on the scene and banged on a bus offering to evacuate members of the convoy in an APC, in contradiction to the British military orders to keep out of the fight. Because this is Churchill, and Churchill loves to fight.
My name is Churchill, and I understand that wrestling reference. Good man.
Yeah.
Did you mean to do a wrestling reference then? Just
I
so
don't
know?
think I did actually, but
Oh,
that just
okay,
happened.
okay, cool. My name is Finley, and I love to fight.
Yeah, there you go.
He was an Irishman, and he had a shillelagh.
Oh right, yeah, they all do.
And his son, he had a leprechaun that was called the Little Bastard, and eventually became Hornswoggle, and you eventually found out that it was actually his son. After they found out it was Vince McMahon's son, but it was actually Finley's son. I know. How are these stories not Oscar worthy? I know, but
Yeah.
carry on, Nathan. I'm sorry.
It does sound like a soap opera.
The acting wasn't on par with soap operas, to be honest with you.
Yeah. So,
So he
yeah.
went to, where was it? Palestine, you said. Palestine.
Yeah. He was in Palestine, and so he offers the help to the convoy to try and get them out in the APC, and his offer was refused in belief that the Jewish Hannah would come to their aid in an organised rescue. When no relief arrived, Churchill and his 12 men provided cover fire against Arab forces. 2 of the trucks caught fire, and 77 of the 79 people inside them were killed.
So not only did he go and offer to help these people he wasn't supposed to help, but they were also like, no, we believe that these people are going to come and help us. But they didn't do a very good job. So in the end, they still helped them and waited and did whatever they could to help them.
Yeah. And he literally would stayed there under fire trying to stop these people from dying. And they were like, nah, we'll stay on the burning fucking convoys.
Stupidity from the people in the thing, amazingness from Mr. fucking Churchill.
From Mr. Churchill, yeah.
Yeah.
Of the experience, he said about 150 insurgents armed with weapons varying from blunderbusses and old flintlocks to modern Sten and Bren guns took cover behind a cactus patch in the grounds of the American colony. I went out and faced them. About 250 riflemen were on the edge of our property shooting at the convoy. I begged them to desist from using the grounds of the American colony for such a dastardly purpose.
Because the grounds of America are sacred.
Of course, yeah. But it's just the idea that he would go like, would you stop shooting at us, you bastards? This is American territory.
I don't mind the violence, but this is not the place for it.
Yeah. After the massacre,
to be honest, I love this man.
Yeah, he's the best. After the massacre, he coordinated the evacuation of 700 Jewish doctors, students, and patients from the Hadassah hospital on the Hebrew University campus on Mount Scopus in Jerusalem, where the convoy had been headed. In his honor, the street leading to the hospital was named Churchill Boulevard.
Wow. So he's not only a badass, but he gives a shit as well.
Yeah. This is a genuine champion of the First Order.
First Order.
Now. Yeah, in 1952, he was in yet another film. The Metro.
Go get your fucking credit, sir.
Yeah, goddamn right. He deserves everything. This man has literally lived the most entertaining, amazing life ever.
Imagine if it was nowadays and you could have had someone filming random shit as well. That'd be amazing.
Yeah. Oh, if they could have seen his exploits.
Yeah.
But he shot the film Ivanhoe in Britain, featuring Churchill's old rowing companion Robert Taylor.
Right.
The studio hired Churchill to appear as an archer shooting from the walls of Warwick Castle.
Okay.
Yeah. In Australia, in later years, he served as an instructor at the Land Air Warfare School in Australia, where he became a passionate devotee of the surfboard.
What? When you said
Yeah.
that, then I thought you was about to say that he became a passionate devotee of Christianity or something. I was like, oh, well,
No.
it gets them all eventually. But a surfboard.
This man in his 50s
Oh wow.
has
Fucking
now
love this guy.
decided, after fighting in multiple wars and chopping people up with a fucking claymore, now is the time to get into surfing.
It's fucking amazing.
What a fucking champion. Like, we should all hope to have a life like this, dude.
Yeah, literally, yeah.
Like, he has done everything he could have possibly wanted and fit it all into his life. It's fucking amazing, dude. In his retirement. Sorry, yeah, go ahead.
No, I was just about to say, I just want to know more about this guy now.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
I think even after this, I'm going to be watching little videos and looking at this dude.
Yeah. Yeah, so Churchill retired from the army in 1959. Yeah, he was still in the army all that time. In retirement, he
while surfing and that.
Oh yeah.
Oh, okay.
While he was in Australia, while he was surfing, he was still, because he was part of the Land Air Warfare School. So he was teaching other people, like, when you want to chop a bastard up, this is how you do it.
Yeah, well, in that case, then, as far as I'm concerned, it definitely happened as well that another conflict happened, and he rode in not only with his bagpipes on back, his sword, his bow, but on a surfboard. I think that happened.
In a kangaroo's pouch. Yeah, so his eccentricity apparently didn't stop there. He startled train guards and passengers by throwing his briefcase out of a train window each day on the ride home. He later explained that he was tossing the case into his own back garden so he would not have to carry it from the station.
Wow. I mean, fair enough. Fair enough.
He's like, throw.
I'm not going to lie, that sounds like the exact kind of thing that I would want to try and work out.
Oh, me too.
So I completely appreciate that.
Yeah. Just saving time. It's smart.
This is before the time of Ubers as well. So yeah, definitely.
Yeah. He also enjoyed sailing coal-fired ships on the Thames and playing with radio-controlled model warships.
No, that's the one bit that doesn't surprise me. Why wouldn't he?
Yeah. So he died ultimately on the 8th of March, 1996, at 89 years old in the county of Surrey. In March 2014. Yeah.
So I just realised he died the year then that my story started.
Oh, yeah. It's interesting, that, isn't it?
We have a lot of nice little coincidences that happen on this show.
So in March 2014, the Royal Norwegian Explorers Club published a book that featured Churchill, naming him as one of the finest explorers and adventurers of all time.
Going by that, then, sadly, I'm going to assume I know the answer to my next question. Did he ever write a book about his life or anything?
Unfortunately, he didn't, no.
Oh, that would have been amazing, wouldn't it?
It really fucking would have been. He is mentioned in various books, and his exploits are talked about in various places. But like, just what a fucking story, man! Like,
yeah, how is that not a film?
I know. This is the thing. Like, I genuinely don't understand how that hasn't been turned into a film yet. It's so fucking ripe for it. You've got the perfect character. You've got all of these madcap experiences throughout his life,
Yeah.
Ending up on movie sets.
And you wouldn't even.
It's like Forrest Gump, but it happened for real, and he was a badass.
Never watched that.
It's okay. It's a good film.
Yeah,
it's just
I feel it's one of them things that I feel like I've seen enough of clips of it to not really bother caring about watching it. I would watch a film about this dude though.
Yeah. Because it's just cool.
What's his name again? I feel like I want to see a picture
of
what it's like.
It's Jack Churchill, my friend.
Jack. Churchill.
Jack Churchill. Jack
Military opera.
or John Malcolm Thorpe Fleming Churchill. Because
Oh, even looks like a badass. I was thinking that I'll look
Oh,
at him
yeah.
and they'll be like, oh, well, you know, well, I was expecting more, but all right. But no, there's even a picture right there of
No.
him with his bagpipes. That's amazing.
Yeah, man's a fucking champion.
He looks like oh, actually, this is one picture I was looking at was him in his older years, but he looks like I would not want to mess with him. Oh, shit, yeah.
No, you wouldn't. Yeah. The
Well,
man
this
was a
picture we're gonna
military
get.
commando.
What a fucking G.
Yeah.
And there's even a, I don't know if you saw that there is, have you seen the little like Warhammer thing you can get for him?
No.
Oh, no, let me save it and I'll show you on the screen. Wait there. That looks like that looks amazing. Where am I? There it is. Upload. There it is. Put it in the wrong folder, but it's there.
Oh, fuck yes.
That's listed as him.
Fuck
Oh, there's
yes.
no bow. There's no bow actually. I'm a bit disappointed there.
Yeah, that's the only thing that's that should really be there.
You know what? It says it's him, but I don't buy that's actually him. Because look at the sword. That's not a
Nah.
broadsword.
That's not a claymore.
That's a Spanish thing. Look, you can see
That's
it's
a
got the thing on the
cutler.
hand.
Yeah, it's a cutlass. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, fuck you, Mr. Man, whoever made that. You lied to me. You put the
Disappointed.
wrong title. I'm
Disappointed.
disappointed in that. Yeah.
Disappointed.
But not in his life. That was generally like, yeah, I want to know more about that guy now. I really
Yeah,
do.
and there's loads more information out there about how fucking mad he was. But yeah, like there's no one else in the world who is legitimately more badass than that. Literally no one. Like there's only one other guy who's vaguely close to it, and that was a guy during World War II in the middle of a fight who was during the Battle of the Bulge, I think it was fighting for so long and got so tired of it that he started firing a mortar from the hip to destroy tanks.
That's right. That's amazing.
Yeah.
I don't know many like random army stories, to be honest, because that was something I didn't realize until, I don't know, like 10 years ago how much I loved history, because I don't think I ever was really that into the military side of it originally. And when you're in school, that's all it ever is, isn't it?
Yeah.
The wars and all that.
And that's you know, it's fine and everything, but like they always teach you the same sort of shit over and over again, which you
when you're young and you should be trying to, you know, like, because history is amazing. History has got so like endlessly amazing stories. Everything that happened yesterday is history technically, but it's like there's just so much.
But it's also like you can learn a hell of a lot from history, and then of course if you don't, you're doomed to repeat it, as the famous
as we've
saying
learned
goes.
Nathan.
Yeah, but that's the thing. Have we
learning
learned
now.
that though? Yeah, because
no,
no
I mean,
one
we're learning it right now because it's still happening.
Yeah.
The world is not. Once again, we've got to the point where we realise that, you know what, there's not a happy ending to that, but there is a happy ending to his story because he's a fucking G.
Yeah, there is a happy ending to the story of Jack Churchill, the most badass who ever badassed.
I'm going to put so many photos up at the beginning now after seeing those photos of just the random shit he did. Those photos are just great that I saw then straight away.
He's a fucking champion. There's a photo on the Wikipedia page which is literally him looking down the barrel of an artillery gun. Like, yes, it all looks fine in there.
I mean, that doesn't sound smart, but okay.
Yeah.
There's a level between badass and silly.
Even if they fired it, it would have bounced off his nose in respect.
You know what? I think you're right. I think you must be right there. Right then.
Shit.
I think this time round, then, we have actually managed to keep it at a reasonable time. Look at that.
That's
2
not
minutes
bad.
18 coming up. That's good for us.
Isn't it? Yeah.
Okay, then let's finish this up now then, and then we'll quickly chat when we've ended about tomorrow.
Yeah, about plans.
Yeah. As usual, though, my man, then, tell the people what you got going on in your life.
Okay, so I have another episode of Post-Apocalyptic Metal Treehouse on the way. I've just finished recording the rough cut version of it, which means I now have to listen to myself over again and re-record all of the voices individually. Which takes
And remember,
a long fucking time.
Sorry, just didn't mean to jump in then.
That's fine.
Remember, you can talk about the quiz of what would have happened because this will go out after
yes,
the quiz.
of
you know
course.
what I mean? So you can.
Yeah.
It works for the post-apocalyptic, doesn't it? So
Yeah, I mean, I was supposed to turn up, but then like I had some weird issues and stuff like that, and then this guy took my space, and like I wasn't entirely sure whether I was comfortable with it, but then he
it's someone you know.
revealed it's someone I know very personally, and I'm okay with it. I'm okay with Leo being out there. I'm okay with him working on his own stuff. I just hope he doesn't rip open the walls of reality around us and cause a dimensional resonance cascade. Because none of us want to be Gordon Freeman. Yeah.
Who?
Gordon Freeman, my friend. Half-Life. Someone will get the joke. Someone will get the reference.
Half-Life, is that a game?
It is, yeah.
See,
yeah,
I'm a young man. I know these things, really.
Yeah.
But I think, I think
no, genuinely, I'm
represented Dead Man Dancing amazingly, or
I think he did,
or he didn't,
or terribly. But that's basically, you could say that about anything that man does. He likes to think of himself as this big, fancy, all-important post-apocalyptic king, but at the end of the day, realistically, he's a bit of a loser.
And you're basically his god, let's be fair.
I am. Yeah.
You are literally his god.
Yeah, and I mean, Barry is out there just sort of caring for him, so I know he'll be fine. It's always fun to have a fish-based priest.
But of course, for anyone out there who doesn't have a fucking clue what we're talking about,
what I'm talking about, yeah,
you need to come on to have a look at what went down 2 days ago on Joke Pit, Kd Comedy Inc. and on my profile. Probably wherever you're watching this video, you'll be able to see it. Yeah. Because it was episode 27 of Kd's Comedian Quiz Off, aka the St. Paddy's Day Massacre, where we saw the bell collector, the comedian bell collector, Callum Ellis Jarvis Jones, defend his title in the blood feud against Mr. Alex Plant, head of the table of the middle class mafia, and M. Coombs with a mystery opponent that we might have just been talking about. You should know who it is. You may know who it is. We haven't said the name yet.
Bucket the fourth, the bucket wearing king with the bucket shaped bling.
I didn't want to say it until you said
it. Yeah.
King Leopold, mystery opponent. No one knew what happened.
No one knew.
Fuck knows.
Yeah, because we're recording this at an entirely different time, so we'll find out.
Yeah, it hasn't happened yet, but that's not the point. It's not the point.
It has.
Don't pull the curtain back.
Have happened yet? Actually,
don't pull the curtain back, Nathan. Don't pull it back.
No. You can always edit that bit out. Don't worry.
I won't do. I'm lazy. No. You know this. But before we go, actually, can you do me a favour? Go to the side.
Yes.
Oh no, the other side. Sorry, I went the wrong way too. And just do a pose for the thing. I don't actually know what pose we're going. Yeah, fuck that. I don't like doing.
I know exactly which one I'm doing.
That's also a wrestling reference too. I'll go with you.
Yeah.
To the side. To the side. To the side. To the side. Other side.
What do you mean other side?
Because I put the words in the middle, so it's for the photo. Because whenever in the right place.
I'm just looking majestic as fuck.
Doesn't matter. Fuck it. I'm not going to do it. I'm going through and finding a natural picture anyway. Whatever. It never works when we try. Not that one. Then everyone watching.
Yeah, I'm glad we managed to get through this, man. I'm so very, very tired and intoxicated.
To be honest, you did extremely well. I didn't even notice. I knew you were tired, and I saw you yawn, but like you said, you've had a long fucking day, man.
Yeah, long one. But
we all, you know what it is, Nathan. We always feel tired, and then we're comedians. We get on stage, we get in front of a microphone, get whatever in front of us,
and suddenly we feel all energized again. Yeah,
and then we turn it off. And we're like, oh god, I'm tired now. Yeah. Okay then.
Reality. Before I forget, Post-Apocalyptic Metal Treehouse on SoundCloud, Spotify, YouTube, Stitcher, iTunes, wherever you get your podcasts, basically. And episode 5 will be out soon with a return of a favourite acting staple of all of our hearts. That's not a sentence. Basically, Jason Statham's going to be back, and you're going to be able to deal with that because it's going to be fucking awesome.
Oh, yeah. And if you are already a fan of the post-apocalyptic Metal Treehouse, if you're not, first of all, you should be. Fucking check it out. It's great.
Yeah.
But if you're not, and you want to know a bit more about it, then you can, of course, like we said, watch the quiz, Kd's Comedian Quiz of 27 that went on a few days ago as you're watching this now. Tomorrow, for us, as it will be, and you will see King Leopold, one of the mainstays of... Are you talking to Leopold now?
No.
Oh, okay. King Leopold, who will be coming, who will be on doing his thing. First time on
I don't know
video.
whether he's like, yeah, okay, yeah, excellent. Doors opening. Yeah, okay, yeah, brilliant.
What was it?
There's just parents coming in and going like, oh, yeah, we're going to bed now. Yep, I'm aware. Okay, excellent.
Perfect timing.
Yeah.
Okay, well, that is a perfect timing. I'm shocked at my
I guess that's it. Yeah.
saying things already, to be honest with you.
Nice.
All right, but everyone watching, then thank you very much. We will see you again next
cheers,
week.
guys.
See you on the quiz. We'll see you at some point.